Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Friday, December 27th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Direct TV Holiday Bowl, number 21, Syracuse Orange versus the Washington State Cougars. Kickoff is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for a little Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, and your boy and the NWSF. Let's get it, baby. And on the left, the Syracuse Orange. On the right, the Washington State Cougars. A lot of transfers. So in this particular matchup, when the bowl game was first announced, it looked like it would be a high-scoring affair. But since Washington State lost their coach and lost 20 to 30 players in the transfer portal, we assume that this could end up being Kyle McCord's, not only last game for, at Syracuse in college football, but it could end up being a quote-unquote beatdown to the Cougs if they were able to keep Mateer, their quarterback, and a lot of the others. I think the game would be a little bit closer, but you never know. When you end up getting teams that, have guys that leave the portal, they end up having their coaches leave. Sometimes they'll play with pride. Other times they'll fold like a, very, very thin piece of paper. So I'm not sure if we're going to end up getting, both teams in the high 20s or 30s, but hopefully it ends up being somewhat of a competitive matchup, obviously, in this bowl game series. DirecTV Holiday Bowl, Syracuse, Washington State. We're going to get going here in just a couple minutes. Let's go, baby. And we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour and a half, 30 to 50 overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. No worries. Hope that you're doing well. Happy holidays. And hopefully we'll get a few people to come through to show some love here today. All right, so let me get all my screens situated here. I think I'm all good to go. Nice, good choice. And then tomorrow we got more bowl games. Obviously, we had quite a few. Obviously, today, Arkansas up 21-5 on Texas Tech. Navy beat Oklahoma 21-20 when Oklahoma scored late but went for a 2-point conversion and did not get it. Vanderbilt beat Georgia Tech 35-27. And then we got the USC Trojans and the Texas A&M Aggies on in about 2 hours and 30 minutes after this one. And then tomorrow's bowl games, I will be watching very, very closely. And with Iowa State and Miami at 12:30. Daniel in the building, what's good? But I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. We're going to do the Alamo Bowl tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific. Colorado ranked 23rd versus number 17 BYU. And then as we dip into the NFL, then we'll end up doing Sunday Night Football, Falcons and Commanders, Michael Penix Jr. and Jaden Daniels. Monday, we'll do Lions and Niners. And then when we get back to college football, that'll end up being, I think, New Year's Eve. And then once we get into that, that'll be another college football playoff game where we're going to end up doing Penn State and Boise State at 4:30 Pacific. So for the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to be very, very busy with a lot of college football bowl games, college football playoff, matchups, as well as NFL matchups as well. Candace in the building, what's good? Yeah, and obviously an ugly win yesterday, beating the Bears 6-3 in the lowest scoring matchup in the NFL all year. I went to the Blazer game, went to the arcade, had some good food. We saw the Blazers end up winning with a obviously buzzer-beating jumper by Scoot Henderson. So we had a good time, obviously, yesterday, and I'm ready to get back into it. Hopefully everyone had a happy Christmas, happy holiday, and obviously as we transition and have a happy new year. Let's go, baby. But we'll be very busy. Like I said, we're going to have bowl games or NFL games pretty much every day for, I would assume, about the next week or so. So it should be pretty good. And hopefully everyone had a good one. And I'm ready to get back into some more college football and NFL action. And again, at times, I think the college football, football season has been better than the NFL. The NFL product this year, still is a hell of a lot better than the NBA. But, some games, definitely put you through the ringer. And I was able to keep up with what was going on with the Bears and Hawks yesterday. But you would hope for both organizations that they could put up more than a 6-3 matchup for the people that ended up watching that. But I guess for Seattle fans, at least you weren't on the short end of the stick losing 6-3. You won 6-3, so your playoff hopes are still alive. And then you got the Rams, obviously, next week that will more than likely decide if you guys make it or don't. So, Harry Potter Lego set, nice. I ended up getting, giving some gifts to my best friend Justin, but he gifted me a 1990s. It was like a 1996 Boba Fett Star Wars figure that came out, during that time period with those movies. Still in like mint condition, still in the box. So I was very happy with that. All right, here we go. Syracuse gets the kick. Good return there to about the 25. And I'm happy that we got Joel and Gus on the mic for this particular matchup. Kyle McCord, the former Ohio State Buckeye quarterback that transferred. And again, he has had some good success in the NCAA. Obviously with 11 games with 300-plus passing yards and leading a lot of the quarterbacks in college football. So we will see if Syracuse defense can match the offense. Washington State had some good players, but they all went into the portal just as soon as their coach decided to leave to go to Wake Forest, which is unfortunate because I really liked what Washington State was bringing this season. Little end around. Wow, tiptoeing in my Jordans. First down. Orange, move the chains. I got a lot of Mariner stuff. I got a lot of Ichiro stuff. Got a lot of Duck stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely. It was a good holiday for me for sure. First down and 10 after that nice first down by the Orange. Man in motion, shotgun set. McCord blitz on the edge, and he throws it away. Incomplete. Good decision there by McCord. Second down and 10. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Pass incomplete on second down and 10. Third down and 10 for the Cougars. Yeah, Stephen Hall will definitely be tested there in the secondary. Third down and 10. Third down and 10. 4 wide, shotgun set for McCord. Good protection up front. Little screen pass, bobbled, and incomplete. Come on, Syracuse. You got to be better than that. And that's exactly what the Cougars wanted, especially being, they're undervalued, undersized, unmatched, obviously, with the Syracuse team. But again, they're fighting. We got an interim head coach. The main head coach dipped and left to go to Wake Forest. They had about 20 or 30 guys hit the transfer portal. So this, team is decimated, based on who they had in the beginning of the year. But again, we'll see if Washington State can play strong. And so far, their defense showing that they came to play. Flag on the play. delay game on the offense. 4th down and 15 now. A little bit more room for them to punt. Syracuse with the punt. Almost blocked by the Cougs. Good effort there. Flag on the play. Might have ran into them. And a good special teams play by the Orange. Well, let's see what the flag is all about. Illegal formation on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. 1st down. All right, 1st down and 10 here for the Cougs, and we'll see what they can do with their first possession here at offense here at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, Zebby Eckhouse, show me. Mateer was very, very good before he hit the portal about 10 days ago. Shotgun set, handoff up the middle. And it really does show you how a coach leaving can affect, not only, just some of the players, but a good majority of the players. And, after your coach dips and a couple of the star players, it's really hard to be able to convince other guys to stay. 2nd down and 7 after that first play with 3 yards. Shotgun set, trips right, audible at the line. Shotgun set, handoff up the gut, trying to be a little conservative to start off. Short game, 3rd down. Yeah, Kyle Williams, their main top-tier product. They got to get him the ball. Shotgun set. Little screen. Get that 1st down. There you go. 1st down. Cougs with the chains. Hernandez with the catch. A little bit of a hurry-up offense here by the Cougs, putting the pressure on. 4 wide. 1 running back set. Shotgun set. Eckhouse. Kyle Williams, 1st down, Cougs, move the chains. Let's go. He's definitely one of the best players overall in this game, so I would definitely have my eyes on him. He got on the thumb for a reason. 1st down and 10, Washington State. Kyle Williams, 50th consecutive game with a reception. That's the longest active streak, I believe, in FBS there. Man in motion, shotgun set. Keeper bounces off 1 defender, but not the second. Short game. Syracuse making some audibles here. Five wide, trips left, shotgun set. Eckhouse, floater, 1-on-1, got a man. Got it, baby. 1st down, Cougs. Kyle Williams with the chains. There we go. Nice play. Especially if you can get Williams 1-on-1. He can get an advantage on that all day. Defender falls down. Safety over the top is a little late. Kyle Williams, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. 1st down, Cougs. Move the chains. And most people had Syracuse winning this game by, 14 to 20 points. The way that Washington State is playing on their first drive, they say, not so fast. A little short gain up the gut for a couple. 2nd and goal. Nice job by Eckhouse getting it started. Second and goal. Eckhouse, man in motion, shotgun set. Keeper, touchdown, Cougars. Let's go. Zevi Eckhouse with the keeper, touchdown, WSU. I see you, Cougs. Let's go. And anytime a team is supposed to get routed by, 14, 20, 24, and they come out of the gates like that, defense played well, offense played well. And again, this is a lot of backups and a lot of, third string guys that had to move into second string and first string since they had so many individuals leave the program just within the last few weeks. Nice job by the Cougs to make sure that they're, playing with a little bit of pride here. Extra point is up. Snap is good. Hold is good. Kick is good. 7-0 Cougars. Let's go. Captain in the building. What's good? Oh, I watched the game. I watched the disgusting 6-3. I saw it. I got to see Scoot Henderson with a buzzer beater. We ended up going to the arcade, played like a Spider-Man arcade game that was kind of like a Metroid Streets of Rage X-Men type of matchup. So we ended up playing that for about 30 to 45 minutes. We beat that, had some really good chicken at Bay's Chicken with some crispy fries, crisp cut fries, chicken, and had a few drinks and whatnot, and then ended up going to the Blazer game last night. And, it was a competitive matchup against the Jazz. It went very back and forth, and my buddy mentioned that, it wouldn't be shocking to see if we ended up getting a buzzer beater for a win. He asked, and definitely he did receive, and we got a Scoot Henderson buzzer beater, but I was keeping my eye on the game the whole time while we were gone, and it could have been worse. It was the lowest scoring game of the year at 6-3, but you could have lost the game 6-3. So at least you ended up winning at 6-3. I guess it could have been worse, only putting up 3. It was the lowest, total of any NFL game this season, and it was a little bit of a shit show, but again, at least your playoff chances are still alive. You got to hope the Rams, obviously lose this weekend, and then you got to beat them, obviously, in the last week of the regular season. So at least the dream is still alive, and you didn't lose to Chicago. We already saw what happened when you played Green Bay, and it wasn't good. And just a little surprising that both teams couldn't, put up more than 6 or 3, but, that's the NFL for you. But we got Syracuse down here, 7-0. The Cougs not only lost their coach, their superstar quarterback, and another 20 to 30 in the transfer portal within just the last couple weeks. So there's no scenario in reality that Washington State should win this game because they're playing with a lot of second, third, fourth stringers right now. But again, the defense played good on their first drive. The offense has played very, very good. And who knows? Syracuse is heavily favored in this matchup, but from what we saw out of the Cougs on their first drive, they're not going to roll over and die and just give it up. So I like that they're making it interesting. So, and then obviously Kyle McCord, former Ohio State Buckeye, leading the FBS, obviously, in some statistics this year as a quarterback for Syracuse. This will be his last game. We don't really know what kind of quarterback he'll be on the next level at all. But at least here in college, he's going to obviously try to finish strong in his last game suiting up here for the Syracuse Orange. Yeah, not a good way to end Thursday night football. But again, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, sometimes it delivers, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the offenses play well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the defenses play well, but then the offense can't get anything going. And obviously, we know offensive lines haven't been the greatest for the Bears or the Hawks, but I'm at least happy that you guys won. It was ugly, but at least it was an ugly victory other than an ugly loss because obviously, I think Seattle fans would be not too happy, only putting up a 3 against Chicago and then having their playoffs, pretty much being ripped out of their hands without even a chance to be able to fight for it, at the end with the Rams. So, wasn't pretty, but at least you guys got the dub. But I ended up watching a good chunk of that game, even though I was out and about. All right, Kyle McCord, you're up next here. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 10 within the first 30 minutes to an hour, 20 within the first hour, hour and a half, 30 to 50 if we get volume, and obviously we'll be shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. And then the schedule will be I will be watching Miami and Iowa State tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific, but we're not going to stream it. I'll just watch it with Paisley because I want to watch Cam Ward and Damian Martinez. But we will be doing the Colorado BYU game because Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to play. So I figured that would be the better one to do based off time. So the Alamo Bowl through Valero, number 17 by BYU 10-2 versus number 23 Colorado Buffaloes 9-3. That'll be at 4:30 Pacific, so we'll do that. Then on Sunday Night Football, we're going to end up doing the Falcons and Commanders, Michael Penix Jr. and Jaden Daniels. Monday will be Lions and Niners, and then we'll get back into the college football playoff on New Year's Eve. And then on New Year's Eve on Tuesday, we're going to end up doing Penn State and Boise State at 4:30 Pacific. And then the day after that, we're going to end up doing Ohio State and Oregon on New Year's Day at 2 p.m. Pacific. After that game is over, it'll be Notre Dame and Georgia, but I probably won't have time to be able to do back-to-back streams with no time in between. So we'll do the Buckeyes and the Ducks. Hopefully the Ducks win, and then I'll be able to hang out with Paisley and watch Notre Dame, Georgia in that late evening matchup. Let's go, baby. Yeah, but even with bad weather, you know, even if it was snow, a thunderstorm, rain, there's no excuse. The Bears and the Hawks should have put up more than that. I mean, we're talking NFL. This isn't a college team. This isn't high school teams. You know, even when the weather is terrible like that or a little suspect and we know the offensive lines haven't been that good, there's no way in hell that should have been the lowest scoring game of the NFL season. You know, there's no way that, you know, two NFL teams should be combining for 9. You know, I mean, like you should at least have one touchdown, you know, in there. You would prefer a touchdown each, you know, for at least being at like, you know, 13-10 or something, you know, or 10-7 at the very least, not 6-3. But I guess that's the way the ball bounces sometimes, and at least you guys got the dub. So. Well, you can disagree all you want, but, I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, 6-3 isn't common. I mean, this is the first time that we've seen a score this low all year. You know, but it is what it is. Cougs up 7-0 against the Orange. First down and 10 for Kyle McCord. Shotgun set. McCord, hands off. Good vision there. Almost a first down. LaQuint Allen run for 8 yards down to the Syracuse 33. There we go. First down, Orange. Quinn Allen again for 14 yards. First down, Orange. Move the chains. Shotgun set. Handoff again. Allen again. Short game. Watch Georgia Tech Vandy. Yeah, the matchups today weren't really the most high end, but of course, if you are a fan of college football, which kind of feels like it's been a little bit better, you know, than the NFL this year. And NFL is much better than the NBA. You know, obviously, even though those Netflix matchups on Christmas were garbage, you know, they still got 20 million more views than the NBA. Nice throw, nice catch. First down, Orange. Move the chains. Captain with a 5er. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little caps, jack, bang, bang. We're at 5. 95 to go. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do photo-wise, and I gotcha. First down and 10 at the Wazoo 23. Shotgun set. 5 wide. McCord looking for a target towards the sideline, and a short gain there. Willis with the catch. 2nd down and 6 at the Wazoo 19. Towards the sideline. Touchdown, Orange. Kyle McCord. Trebo Pena. Touchdown, Orange. Let's go. Yeah, that one was very back and forth. I tried to watch as much as I could in these last few days, obviously with, Christmas and then obviously the day after and whatnot. So, yeah, but I've been trying to keep up with almost every bowl game as much as I possibly can. It's trying to soak in all of this football before it's going to be over. Syracuse lining up like they're going to go for 2, but I doubt they're going to try to get that cute, but they are. Hand off. Diving for the pylon. Did he get it? He did. Wow. How do the Cougs let that actually get converted towards the sideline? I have no idea, but wow. Nice throw by Kyle McCord right in the breadbasket. 8-7 Syracuse. What do you want to do for a photo or photos? Let me know and I got you. But we'll do bowl game today, bowl game tomorrow, NFL games back to back. Then there'll be a couple bowl games, and we'll just pretty much be, focusing on those things, for the foreseeable future. Obviously, we got quite a few games to go before we're all wrapped up in college football, as well as the NFL as well. Yeah, but South Florida, San Jose State was very good. 5 OTs, the Hawaii Bowl. All right, I got you. Eight, 7 Syracuse. Good start in this particular matchup for the Holiday Bowl. We'll get a couple Genos up for you. We're at 5:95 to go on the Dono train. Hopefully one day we'll get that offensive line firmed up. Definitely should be the priority. Hopefully they understand that. Let them know, Captain. Help your boy out. Yeah, but I got an amazing selection of collectibles over the Christmas season. So lots of dope Ichiro things. I got my first PSA Ichiro auto, which was incredible. The frame is incredible. Everything's incredible about it. I got a custom Dylan Gabriel Duck hoodie that I'll debut when they play Ohio State, or possibly earlier, with the player image of him on there a couple times, which is pretty sweet. Little Star Wars, little Dylan Gabriel, little bit of everything. Lots of Ducks, a lot of Mariner things, that's for sure. You got Syracuse winning by a field goal. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought Syracuse was going to win big, by a touchdown or two, or who knows, maybe even three. I know some people were thinking it would be like 35-14, but the Cougs are definitely playing with a lot of spirit and a lot of heart, considering they don't have a lot of the individuals from the team left, from just a couple months ago, with about 20 plus hitting the portal, and they lost their coach to Wake Forest. And I don't know, to me, Wake Forest is a downgrade to Washington State. I would have stayed, but what do I know? Shotgun set. And I like the fact that we got Gus and Joel on this particular call as well, fighting off with that stiff arm. Second down, 4-yard gain. Looks like they ended up taking back that 2-point conversion, so 7-6. Cougs stepped out before he ended up diving in after the replay. First down, Cougs. Move the chains. Eckhouse pass to Carlos Hernandez for 12 yards. First down, Cougs on the WSU 41. Eckhouse's numbers career-wise, damn good. 3-to-1, touchdown interception ratio. Eckhouse bouncing off one, but not the other. Caught from behind. Second down and 9 on the WSU 42. Eckhouse playing pristine so far, 4 for 4, 67 yards. Yeah, I mean, their starting quarterback was amazing at the beginning of the year, if you saw them play at all. Mateer. I mean, he was a good running threat and a throwing threat. Obviously, you would know, being a Husky fan, dropped that game to them earlier in the year. But, if they would have had their full roster, I think they would have beaten. We'll see what happens here today. But if Mateer was playing, they still had their head coach, and they had all their players that didn't hit the portal or transfer out. Washington State still might be able to win today without all of those things. Diamond formation at the top, but if they had everyone's, I would assume, even though they're not ranked, that they would have a very good chance to put on a very good show today. But so far, the Cougs with a bunch of backups, at coach, quarterback, and all the skill position players, they're playing with a lot of heart. Toby in the building, what's good? Like, sub, donate, comment, share, help your boy out. Try to get to 20 before this matchup ends. And then obviously we'll be shooting for 100 in the donos. We're at 5:95 to go. Janikowski with the kick. Pena at the 15 to 20. Gets a block downfield. Another block down the sideline. Good return from the Orange. 42-yard punt return for 34 yards by Pena. Let's go. See if I can squeeze in a couple more photos for you. I can get one more in here for you. Let's go. Did you have a good Christmas, Captain? Do I think the Falcons can beat the Commanders? Obviously, the Commanders will be heavily favored, but I mean, anything could happen. I mean, obviously, just because Michael Penix Jr. didn't throw for his first touchdown pass, and they ended up having great defense, and they ended up, winning that game. They definitely will be underdogs. It's a trap game for the Commandos, and the Falcons are going to be thirsty because obviously they know that Tampa's defense has a bunch of injuries, and they haven't looked very good. I mean, if we can't beat Dallas, who the hell are we going to be able to beat even if we do win the NFC South? So I don't know how it'll all play out. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely think Atlanta will have a chance. Their defense has started to play a little bit better. You trust Michael Penix Jr. more than Kirk Cousins. Again, other guys are going to have to step up. Bijan, London, Mooney, the offensive line, Algier, and especially the defense against the Commandos. And they're going to be on the road. But, I would say that the Commandos should be heavily favored, but you never know. An early pick six or turnover, from Jaden Daniels could be the oomph that the Falcons need to upset them on the road. But, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't bet on the Falcons winning. I think it's more of a trap game, but, anything is possible. Yeah, mine was good. Got a chance because I didn't get a chance to celebrate Thanksgiving with my dad and my stepmom because they were sick, and got to see my stepsister and her husband and my niece and whatnot. So it was a small little outing of us, only about 6 or 7 total. But the gifts were good for giving and receiving. It was a good time, man. And I'm definitely back, ready to get back on the grind. I usually don't like taking a couple days off, but got to have a little rest and relaxation. Throw to the sideline. And who has it? Meeks with the catch. Cougs arguing that they picked it off. Yeah, but he's already down on the ground. Cougs are arguing that, he might have tried to rip it away, but after he already hit the ground with his knees and his elbows. McCord towards the sideline. Back shoulder. Meeks again. First down, Orange. Flag on the play. Holding on the defense after getting burnt on that last play. I got some stuff from Japan as well, like 50 plus Ichiro cards that I've never, had in the past. I got a couple baubles, a rare Lou Piniella and Brett Boone. Touchdown, Orange. LaQuint Allen says, let me do it again. Bang, baby. I've done it all season. Let me do it here in the bowl game. Nice job. (12-7) Orange. Good blocking up front by the Syracuse O-line. And LaQuint Allen's got good vision, good speed. And again, he's got the agility and athleticism to find a way. Touchdown, Orange. Going for 2 again. Trips right. Shotgun set. Blockers. And he goes in untouched. 2-point conversion this time is good. 14-7 Orange. This one has been good from the very start. Nice job, Syracuse. Yeah, but I got some really cool Ichiro promo stuff. Like back in Japan, there was like Nissan in Japan. Like if you ended up test driving a car back when Ichiro was playing for like the Oryx Blue Wave, they had these like little promo cards, circular and normal looking, like baseball cards that they would give away. And my dad ended up, getting one from Japan of one of those, an Ichiro calling card that looks like a baseball card from when he was like 15, 16, 17 years old. So my dad usually knows, what to get. And it's typically, going to be Duck stuff or Mariner stuff, throwback stuff, rare stuff, not very, common, things that you're going to be able to find here in the United States or, even maybe overseas. So I'm definitely very, very happy with the haul that I got for sure. Nice job by Syracuse, 14-7, Orange. All right, Cougs, your turn. Good, decent return there by the Cougs with all their backups there. I like it. 2:25 left in the first, 14-7, Orange. It was just a little weird because, like, I dug up, like, in my collection, and I found, like, a Ichiro bauble and, like, those Russian nesting dolls. Like, I found some, like, Ichiro merch, and then it just so happens a couple days later for Christmas, I get all this Ichiro stuff. It was a little weird. It's like that ESP and that S. I saw a photo of my friend Greg that I haven't seen in like 5-6 years and was thinking about him. And then what happens? At the end of the Blazer game, I'm waiting by the bathrooms, and who taps me on the shoulder? Greg. Like, it was like the weirdest thing. I don't know how the universe works like that, but they definitely, put people in a position to be able to find me or I find them. And yeah, not only do I get the Scoot buzzer beater, I get to see my friend I haven't seen in like 5-6 years at the game last night with his son. So pretty awesome day yesterday. Little short gain there on 2nd down and 7, 3rd down and 3. Eckhouse run for 4 yards to the Wazoo 34. And then we got a player down. Barron is down for the Orange on 3rd down and 3. I need to go grab my drink here from the freezer. Give me one sec. All right, I'm back. Hopefully Barron is okay because that's one of the key pieces there for the Syracuse defense. They're going to need him out there. Hopefully he's not out for the whole matchup here tonight. 3rd down and 3 on the Wazoo 34. Good one here so far in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. 14-7, Syracuse is up. I'm not sure if he's got a broken nose or what's going on, but holding his face, or maybe a broken nose or something. Shotgun set. Go, baby, go! Look at the speed. 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown! Kyle Williams, and I got him on the thumb for a reason because I knew he was going to do something like that here today. Wow! And again, as long as they have the ability to get Kyle Williams the ball, he's the best player on the field, not named Kyle McCord, the quarterback for Syracuse. And you could argue that Kyle Williams might be better, than what you're going to get out of McCord. Look at the speed, look at the hands, look at the separation, and getting into the end zone. Nice job. Eckhouse. Williams, 66 yards for the tutty, baby. Extra point is up and good. This is a good one. And I get it. Some NFL fans may not care about college football. Some college football fans only want to watch their team play. But if you're a fanatic like myself and Captain, we don't care. as long as there's a game on and there's some players that, may be able to shine, we're probably going to check it out. And it'll give us an opportunity to learn more about those teams and players. And I absolutely love it. And again, I feel like college football has been so much better than the NFL this year. Just even not just because of the, Seahawks 6-3 game against the Bears, but, what we've seen with the Chiefs, what we've seen with the refs, what we've seen just, the blatant no calls that have affected the games at the end. I still feel like every once in a while we'll get a gem where we'll get the Bills and the Lions scoring 40 plus, and whoever has the ball at the end of the game wins. But not every matchup in the NFL is going to be like Bills Lions. I mean, I'm a defensive-minded guy, and I want to see defense, but I want to have points being scored. I want to see a good defensive battle, but I still want to see some good offense as well. And thank God for Kyle Williams, that he didn't transfer out. One of the last great pieces that the Cougs have left, and he just tied it up for Wazoo. We're knotted up at 14. Appreciate you helping out with that, Captain. Awesome play. Well, you got to think top 10 Heisman voting. Like, who else has actually been to Syracuse? Donovan McNabb is one of the most famous, that we know of. But I don't know if that's the answer to that trivia question. That might be too easy. It might be someone from way back in the day in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, pre-Donovan McNabb, some OG that, might have made the NFL or, played back in the day. So I assume it's not Donovan McNabb, but who knows? Yes, I did watch the game. I saw that on Netflix. And again, the Steelers, they might be, the third, fourth, fifth best team, behind the Chiefs and the Bills, but they're still little brother against Kansas City. Russ is too slow. Offensive line for the Steelers not good enough, and the Chiefs still have a good defense. Again, number one in a couple statistical categories and number one on third down. This could be a three-peat for the Chiefs. Like, if the Bills can get enough out of Josh Allen and James Cook, they're the only team that has a chance to beat them in the AFC. And then if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, the only teams that have a chance are the Lions and the Eagles, nobody else. So, and now the Eagles have injuries with Jalen Hurts, and the Lions continue to have more injuries on that defense, with 16, 17 guys on injured reserve. So I don't really know how it's going to play out, but, even though this might be, the Chiefs' weakest, season as far as wow plays and dominance, they're barely winning, but they're winning. They might be the weakest, 15-1 team, and they might end up going 16-1, and they might be the weakest, not very strong looking, not dominant looking, almost intercepted by the Cougs. Good awareness there by Edson. But again, if you're efficient on third down, you have good time of possession, you have a great defense, which they do. You still got Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, and Chris Jones, right? You're going to have a chance. So again, I know a lot of us are, hoping that we get somebody new, but eventually you go from being the underdog, the Chiefs, to the New England Patriots and Brady. And if you're good enough, long enough, you eventually turn into the villain. And that's what the Chiefs have turned into for being as good as they are these last few years, right? Blocked, touchdown, Cougars! Wow, Wazoo! They kept telling me that, hey, Mateer transferred, their coach left at Wake Forest. They lost 20 to 30 players in the portal within the last 20 days. And then they're coming out like this against number 21, Syracuse. Let's fucking go. What a block. What a pickup. What a touchdown. Wow. STL in the building. What's good? What a game. A blocked punt for a touchdown. Jack Stonehouse blocked by Neal. Wow. And Meredith returns it for 12 for a tutty. And again, that's why I love being able to do games like this. For a majority of people, they have no interest until the game, turns out to be like this, and then they start paying attention. For some of us, we're going to watch no matter what. For others, they have to see what the score looks like before maybe they tune into the second quarter or the second half. And this one has definitely lived up to the billing and exceeded it. 21-14 Cougs. And again, some people were, these quote-unquote experts like Acho and these other idiots that are on the network through like Fox Sports thought it was going to be like 35-14 Syracuse. Not so fast. Don't lose, bet and listen to dummies like Emmanuel Acho. Again, you never know what kind of effort you're going to get out of a team that loses their coach and loses a lot of players to the portal. There's still going to be guys there that are going to want to play, but look at the notable players there. Quarterback, gone. Starting running back, gone. Right? Second most receiving yards in Hudson, gone. Starting right tackle, gone. Starting linebacker, gone. And that's just some of the notable pieces, including the backups that said, fuck this, we're leaving. But as far as the head coach is concerned, why would you leave Washington State to go to Wake Forest? Because what? You're in the Pac-2 and you're trying to rebuild it? Like, I still think the Beavers and the Cougars would be deserving enough to come to the Big Ten, and I think they would have success. It might be slow for them like UCLA, but again, the Pac-12 always delivers. Regardless if it's teams at the top or at the bottom, on any given week, they could compete with the big boys at the top, and they've proven that they can do so. But again, no interest from the Cougs or the Beavers, as far as like TV deals and money. But I would have really loved Washington State, Oregon State. We can keep the, Apple Cup and the Civil War still going. And then, you can still have them, compete and try to get better. But, it's just a damn shame, with all the realignment, because I would have really loved to see those two teams get picked up. More deserving than UCLA, in my opinion. But again, UCLA will have, other sports for, the Big Ten, whether it's college hoops or, baseball, volleyball, they're looking into that, in consideration. Track and field, they have to be able to see, like, how good are you at sports, not just the main ones. End of the first quarter, 21-14, Cougars. Wow. So we had let's do a quick recap in this particular matchup. All right, so in this matchup, we had Eckhouse, the backup quarterback, run for a 4-yard tutty, 7-0 Cougs. Then Kyle McCord, the former Buckeye, Ohio State quarterback, ended up going to Pena, right, for a nice tutty, and ended up getting that for, I think it was about 19 or 20 yards. Then it ended up being 7-6. They went for a 2-point conversion. It failed. So then you have Wazoo up 7-6. Okay, then LaQuint Allen, who's a stud for Syracuse at running back, 12-yard run, right, 2-point conversion good, 14-7. Syracuse. Then Eckhouse to Kyle Williams for 66 yards, and he's the best receiver pretty much on the field today. 14-14 after that 66-yard pass from Eckhouse to Kyle Williams. He's on the thumbnail on the right there. And then obviously Josh Meredith with a 12-yard punt return off a blocked punt. He scooped it up and then got in the end zone. 21-14. I mean, this is literally the best outcome you could have asked for on two lower name schools battling it out in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. This is not the Seahawks and Bears at 6-3. So even when you get, these matchups, some people might not care, right? But again, you're going to be entertained. You just have to tune in. And again, that's why it's up to me to be able to push as much NFL and college football, specifically college football, so that way we can get more awareness. So if you're just stuck and settling for NFL and not watching college football, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you want to make sure you're learning about these college players, because some of them might end up being on your favorite NFL team next year or the year after in the draft. And again, I feel with the college football playoff, with the bowl games, the transition is already starting in front of our very eyes. That the NFL, it's not as bad as the NBA. It's never going to be unwatchable. It's not going to get 5 million in ratings when the Netflix games got like 25 million. So the NFL is not in a, kind of a problem state. But there has been a lot of shitty games this season Not only based on the outcomes, the lack of penalties called, and also matchups of just effort, being shown. But in the college game, yeah, some of these schools may not be everyone's favorite cup of tea, but again, 21-14, it definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat. And when's the last time you ended up getting a blocked punt for a touchdown in the NFL? Doesn't happen very often, on college or the NFL. But again, I like what I'm seeing here so far. We're at 5, 95 to go. We're at 10 more likes to go. Sarah in the building, what's good? I'm super excited about Miami and Iowa State tomorrow, but I'm just going to watch that with Paisley. And then, again, we're going to do Colorado and BYU. Shedeur Sanders, as well as Travis Hunter, have multi-million-dollar insurance policies out just in case they get hurt, so that way that they can recoup some of that money if for whatever reason that they end up having a big injury and it affects their money on the NFL side, based on being a first round pick. So hopefully we don't have any injuries whatsoever, but we'll be doing that bowl game tomorrow. Then we'll be doing the Falcons and Commandos, Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels on Sunday Night Football, then Lions and Niners on Monday. Then on Tuesday, Christmas Eve on my dad's birthday, we have a college football playoff game with Penn State and Boise State. Should be a blowout, but it'll still be fun. And then we'll alternate between college football bowl games, college football playoff games, and NFL games pretty much every day, moving forward here for the next week or so. Captain with a $5. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for a photo. Sarah with $1, appreciate you. Let me know what you want. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. We're at 11, 89 to go. Matt in the building, what's good? We got a Cougar down. Doing good, man. I ended up getting, I got a Gem Mint 10 Dylan Gabriel Blue Refractor card, one of his early cards here before he ends up going to the NFL. I got a custom Oregon Duck Dylan Gabriel player image hoodie that's got, his player image on it like 3 or 4 times. Like sometimes you'll see some of those players with the player image shirts and whatnot. I got a really cool Dylan Gabriel custom black hoodie that's got his player image on it like 3 or 4 times on there, which is pretty sweet. Got some Ichiro gear, got some Mariners gear. I got this new ESPN trivia game that just came out, which is badass. It has like other pieces to it, like almost like when you play paper football and you have like the little goalpost and then you flick the little paper football. It's got all these extra things that go with it with the trivia. I don't know. I had a pretty good Christmas as far as memorabilia and things from Japan. Definitely digging the Dylan Gabriel stuff that I ended up getting to. And I'm fucking ready. I'm fucking ready for these bowl games, and hopefully things will keep getting better and better. We got USC and A&M coming up in about an hour and a half as well. Okay, I got you. But the arcade was a lot of fun. We ended up beating another game like we normally always do when we go, which was awesome. An old school Spider-Man game that was like an X-Men type of style game, as well as a little bit of kind of like Metroid, where it had like a zoom in feature where you're doing side scrolling fighting, like kind of like X-Men or like Streets of Rage. And then it got to a point in the level where it would be like a smaller, character. And then you would be crawling up on things and whatnot, and almost like a Contra or Super Contra. It was very cool. We weren't expecting that. And once we started going through the levels, we said, fuck it, let's just try to beat it. And then we ended up playing it for about 30, 40 minutes, and we beat it. And played a Star Wars arcade machine and Hydro Thunder. I played Ninja Turtle Pinball. Then we had some really good chicken from Bay's Chicken. Went to the Blazer game, saw Scoot Henderson with the buzzer beater. Met up with one of my friends that I haven't seen in like 5 or 6 years with his son at the end of the game. Everything worked out really, really good in the last couple days. Christmas has been good. Christmas Eve was good. Christmas was good. Day after Christmas was good. And again, I missed y'all. Yeah, too bad Mateer isn't playing, but at least you're getting a good production at an Eckhouse. 7 for 7, 136 and a tutty. Let's go. First block punt for a touchdown for Wazoo since 2018. Holy fuck. And I'll get you some more photos there. I'll get you some Travis Hunter too. But again, with Shedeur and Travis Hunter playing in the bowl game with their insurance and whatnot, I'm very interested in that one and the Miami game. But obviously Miami is on at 12:30 Pacific. So we'll probably just do one game. We'll just do the Colorado. But I'm definitely watching that Miami game for Cam Ward and Damian Martinez all the way through. And hopefully the U ends up beating Iowa State. I don't really have anything against Iowa State. I just want to see Cam Ward finish strong. So. Nice reverse there by Pena. First down. Orange. Move the chains. Yeah, it's Spider-Man the arcade game, but they think they had a version of it like on Sega, but it was from like 91, 92, but it was amazing. Like I said, side-scrolling, action, kind of like X-Men, the arcade game, or like Streets of Rage. And then when you would go through a different part of the level, it would turn into kind of Contra, where you're like, sliding up. Like you had Spider-Man, Nighthawk, and a few other characters that had like 4 characters to choose from, so you didn't have to choose the same one. But then the screen got smaller, the characters got smaller, and you could see more of the level. And I've never seen a video game like that, arcade-wise. And we almost walked past the machine, but I told my buddy, I was like, let's try this out. I think this is going to be dope. And we were pleasantly surprised. And again, we've never played that game before. It was a brand new machine to the arcade, and we took advantage. And a lot of people, when they go to those arcades, they just play like 50 games, but they don't really beat anything. When we go, we try to beat a game every time we go. Touchdown, Orange, threading the needle. McCord to Gadsden. Whoa. Oh my, what a catch. Yeah, Teoscar, 3-year deal for $66 million. As soon as it dropped, I messaged my dad and called him and let him know. He's very happy, very big on Teoscar like I am too, and he's very, very happy. I think most Dodger fans are. Obviously, Blue Jay fans loved him, Mariner fans loved him, and winning the home run derby was just the first piece of the pie to what was to come, and then obviously capping it off with that World Series championship and the pennant. Nice throw, nice catch, touchdown, Orange, 21-21, nice. Record to Gadsden. All right, let's try to get a few more photos up here. Appreciate you. Let's see what kind of Travis Hunters we can get up here too. I figured doing the Colorado Bowl game will be better than doing, Rams Cardinals. I mean, I know there's a triple header tomorrow, for matchups and whatnot, but I don't know. I would rather evaluate, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and see what they got going on. But Chargers, Patriots, and if you're looking at some of those matchups, Bengals and Broncos, that might be the best one out of the three, but nothing really to, oh my God, I have to watch, type of games, so. And hopefully those NFL games tomorrow won't all be shit, I feel like Netflix on Christmas, the Chief game was decent until they started pulling away. But then, the game after that, when the Texans only put up 2 at home, that's embarrassing. It's like, I don't know what's going on with, some of these teams. And I get it. Some teams, are banged up or injured or have issues at the O-line. But the Texans putting up 2 on Christmas, and then the Seahawks, putting up 6-3 against the Bears. I mean, that's the lowest score of all year, but I mean, this is the NFL. This isn't college. I don't know, man. The transition is starting already. Heisman. I haven't even watched season 1 of it. At some point I may, watch season 1 or season 2. I still got a lot of other things ahead of that on my bucket though. But I believe you that it's good. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people that have watched season 1 and season 2 that they enjoy it. There was a rumor that Shaq Barrett possibly could come back to the Bucs. I mean, we have so many injuries on that side of the ball and getting embarrassed by, the Cowboys and not being able to stop a nosebleed. It shows you how important Antoine Winfield Jr. and Cade Otton are to the Bucs. It's like, I can't have any injuries at all if I want to be able to compete, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Nice. First down, Cougs. Move the chains. Getting a little chippy out there. But we'll take Shaq Barrett. I mean, of course, if you're floating around on certain teams and getting cut and, you're already familiar with us, we don't expect anything. But if you can come in and help fill a hole, that will help. Eckhouse. There you go. First down, Cougs. Move the chains. But Chargers, Patriots, I don't know how good that's going to be. Cardinals, Rams. We'll see how it goes. I assume the Chargers will win. Patriot defense will play tougher than normal. Broncos and Bengals should be good. Obviously, Broncos need to win to be able to make the playoffs. And then Cardinals, Rams, divisional game. Don't really know what you're going to get, but you would assume the Rams will, blow them out. But hopefully those games tomorrow will be watchable. Broncos, Bengals should be watchable. I don't know about the other two, though. I mean, unless you're a Rams fan or a Charger fan, then you're watching them. But, having opponents like the Pats or the Cardinals, not really that ideal, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I did see Greg Gumbel passed away. Shout out to Greg. I always enjoyed his voice during March Madness and anything that he covered. Good tackle there by McDaniels. Third down. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And I know that Captain's keeping track of the likes as well as the dono numbers. I appreciate that. 3rd down and 14. On the Syracuse 47, shotgun set. Eckhouse going long, going deep. Intercepted. Terrible throw by Eckhouse. I don't know what he was seeing there. Flag on the play, but he threw it right in between 2 Orange defenders. Let's see if there's a PI or pass interference. Offense. Didn't even matter. Terrible throw from Eckhouse there. What was he thinking? Played so well up to this point. You just can't throw it up like a 500 ball with a Nerf football and thinking that your receiver is going to come down with it. Last time I checked, they don't have Megatron on Washington State. No, he pushed the corner, thought he was going to get the completion. Then you had another defender keeping his eyes on the quarterback, cluing, backpedaling, and picking that football off. First mistake by Eckhouse. 21-21, we're knotted up. First down and 10. Go, baby, go. First down, Orange. Move the chains. McQuinn Allen Jr., baby. You gotta keep your eyes on Allen. He's so shifty. He's got the speed. Rumbling and a bumbling. First down, Orange. Move the chains. 29-yard gain down to the 33. First down, Orange. Move the chains. Jackson Meeks is having himself a day. 17 yards down to the 50-yard line for a first down. Record. Towards the sideline. Yeah, it's always cool when you can end up getting a hoodie or a jacket of your favorite college or NFL team. You know, I wasn't really expecting, anything, like jacket-wise or hoodie-wise, even though I know that, I know my dad knows what I like and whatnot. And every Christmas or birthday, they kind of switch it up on, might be Julio Rodriguez on, one Christmas. And then this year it was Ichiro as kind of more of the focal point, even though I got some Duck stuff as well. But I'm really stoked with the Gabriel hoodie that I got. That way, at least I have a memory from this season, with one of the players on it. So. Third down and 10. Good matchup here between the Syracuse Orange and the Washington State Cougs. Kyle McCord, the former Ohio State quarterback, leading a lot of the statistical categories at quarterback for Syracuse. Obviously heavily favored to win this matchup. And on the flip side, Washington State had a great record this year, but their coach left to Wake Forest a few weeks ago, which is a downgrade to Washington State, if you ask me. And then when he did that, the quarterback Mateer, who is very, very good running and throwing, transferred, as well as another 20 to 30 players. So almost half the team transferred within the last couple weeks. So they didn't really have a whole lot of players to play in this game. And they had to do voting on some of those players, who was going to play and who wasn't. But with that being said, I don't think that anyone of it would have expected a 21-21 game. But again, the Cougs are not rolling over, and to have that many people leave, the head coach, the star quarterback, star running back, offensive linemen, defensive players, and for them to be able to hang tough and possibly beat Syracuse, That says a lot about the Cougar players that are currently there and the interim head coach. He did a very good job on motivating his kids to get up for this game and not get embarrassed in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. I appreciate that. As a fan of college football and the NFL, I want to be able to see good games. And I know we're going to have blowouts like we had in the first round in the college football playoff, but that's going to be something that's going to happen. Like we have 4 games in the next round. 2 of them are going to be blowouts, right? We already know Penn State is going to win, right? Against Penn State's going to beat Boise State. Texas is going to beat Arizona State. And we would assume both of those games are going to be won by 10-14 or maybe even more, right? It could be 17 or more. But the good ones are going to be Ohio State and Oregon, right? As well as Notre Dame and Georgia. Those could go either way, right? And it's unfortunate that they have Ohio State playing Oregon this early because you want to be able to have the best 4 teams at the very end. But they didn't really give Oregon, any love. Not that I just want an easy path to play like Boise State or Arizona State. Again, we have the hardest path out of any team. But again, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I don't mind. Ohio State, so what? Texas, so what? Then we have to play either Notre Dame, Georgia, or Penn State in the Natty. So what? That's the way that we're going to have to do it. No excuses. We beat Ohio State. We beat Michigan. We beat Penn State. We beat a lot of these teams already, besides Texas and Georgia being in the SEC. I know it's going to be very difficult, but again, I'm very excited for the opportunity. And if for whatever reason we don't win it this year, it feels like we're very, very close. And our schedule next year will even be easier. The only hard game that we have is at Penn State. That's it. So we literally could go undefeated next year, but I don't want to get, downgraded because they would say, oh, you guys don't have anybody good on the schedule. Well, that's not our problem. This is what is left, in the Big Ten. And, when you keep adding more and more teams in the Big Ten, where it's almost 20 teams in the Big Ten instead of 10, you're not going to play every single school every year, which is a travesty. Oregon should be playing Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State every fucking year. Not only for our fan base, but for every college football fan base that wants to see good matchups. First down, Orange, move the chains, and to not have Michigan or Ohio State on the schedule next year, terrible. But it is what it is. Shotgun set. Ingram in the building. Man in motion. McCord. Nice little slant route right there. Both defenses a little bit on their heels. They have more offensive weaponry on both sides of the ball. And again, you got the block punt for the touchdown from the Cougs. You're probably not going to get a lot of fumbles for touchdowns or pick sixes in this game. And if it does happen, it'll probably happen in the second half. But again, defense is a little bit lacking. But again, we're still getting some good offensive firepower in a matchup that supposedly Syracuse were supposed to win by 14, 17, 20 or more. Not so fast. That's why you don't listen to Emmanuel Acho and a lot of these dumbasses on Fox Sports 1 and a lot of your favorite networks. These guys are just a bunch of talking heads that get paid a shitload of money that are incredibly stupid. They're not watching the games. They're not watching the film. I don't give a shit if you were in the NFL at one point or another. You're terrible, Acho. No one cares, period. Second and goal, 21-21, Orange. Cougs, we're knotted up. Second and goal. There it is. Touchdown, Orange. LaQuint Allen, baby. He can score 2, 3, 4 times. You got to keep your eyes on Allen. Again, for people that aren't familiar with Syracuse or Washington State, they're not going to be familiar with some of these names that we're going over. Eckhouse has played well. McCord has played well for the quarterbacks. LaQuint Allen, that's his second tutty. And again, we're just waiting for Kyle Williams on the other side to get a long tutty to possibly tie it up. Let's go. 27-21, Orange. Extra point is up and good. 28-21, Orange. All right, we're at 10. We need 10 more to go to get to 20. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we're at 11. 9 more to go to hit the goal. Let's get there, baby. And we got Gus and Joel on the game as well. Of course, you know I'm going to do this one. All right, Orange with the kick, and goes out of bounds. Penalty, flag on the play. .35-yard line, kickoff out of bounds. Intercepted! Go! Flag on the play. And finally, we get a little bit of defense, but I don't know if it's going to count, though. Flag on the play after the pick. Eckhouse not good on that long Hail Mary throw that got picked off. Let's see what happens here on this flag. Personal foul. Oh, on the defense. 15 yards, and that's coming back. Kind of had a feeling that was going to come back. Eckhouse. Oh, yeah, he's underneath the chin in the helmet there. All right, Washington State gets that break there. Eckhouse, not the greatest decision-making there, but again, a timely call on the offensive line, defensive line battles. And anytime you end up getting underneath the chin and then the helmet starts, getting shifted around, if the, reps are looking at you, you might get that call once in a while. You're not going to get it all the time, but Eckhouse definitely took advantage of that particular call. He's very grateful. Flag on the play. Was that a false start? We'll find out. Snap infraction. Man, I can't wait for Miami and Iowa State tomorrow. Gonna wake up super early, get settled in for that one. We'll definitely be rooting on Cam Ward and Damian Martinez from the U, and then we'll definitely have a lot of fun with BYU and Colorado. That one could go either way. Obviously, everyone's assuming Colorado is going to win with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, but we'll find out. Well, BYU actually has a pretty good team this year. They got more wins than Colorado. I think BYU is 10-2, I believe, and Colorado is 9-3, I believe. So, but again, records don't tell the whole story, right? Like in the college football playoff, they were going off records, not based off strength of schedule, even if you have more losses. And now, for all those people that were happy, including myself, that Alabama with 3 losses didn't get in, maybe we need to change our tune a little bit. And maybe we do need to start considering putting in 3-loss teams if they actually are in a good conference and have good, matchups against good teams, instead of rewarding a team like Indiana going 11-1, playing nobody, and then getting absolutely fucking destroyed. It can't be just about wins. It has to be quality of win. Losses matter too, but again, I would rather have a 9-3 team that has played good competition all year for the most part, rather than, someone that's 11-1 that played no one, and then absolutely gets destroyed against a good team that's a top 25 team in the playoff. So, I like being able to reward, new teams, new colleges, new schools, but, obviously in this college football playoff, home field advantage is everything. And, no matter what the records were of those other teams, they had no chance. There's a huge advantage in college football. Now, if they want to make it more fair, they don't do home games in the first round of the college football playoff. You make all of those at neutral sites. Then it ends up being a little bit more fair. But if they continue to have the home team in the first round of the playoff, there's not going to be a goddamn road team that's going to win. And if they do, it's going to have to be a damn special team to get a win on the road. And in this next round, you're going to see Penn State and Texas get wins on the road. But again, it's going to take a team like that to be able to win on the road in the college football playoff. It can't just be, one of the scrubs. It can't be one of the bottom 6. It has to be one of the top 6. 28-21, Orange. Take care. First down and 10. Eckhouse, 12 for 13, 170 yards, 1 TD, and 1 bad pick. Handoff. Good tackle there by the Orange. And we're at 11, 89 to go. God, I love Gus and Joel. Why can't Gus and Joel do every goddamn big college football game? They are so good. Doesn't matter who's playing. Like I said, they complement each other so well. And again, there's just such a good vibe with those two. Is his nose bleeding again? He already went out once earlier in the game. His nose is just bleeding, and then they took him out and it's bleeding again. He really wants to play, but I don't blame him. If you're a junior, you're a senior, or this might be the last game, he's like pushing away the trainers with the towel. But bro, if your nose is bleeding all over your gloves and shit, and it's all, you're bleeding on the grass, you're bleeding on yourself. I mean, I know you want to play, but let the trainers help you. Come on now. I mean, I honestly feel, that you have more talent on YouTube than you do on TV, and on podcasts. I think, like I said, if you, not just this channel, but other channels out there that have talent, with good voices and obviously good research and good energy, I feel like you have better connection, and again, it's just not biased like you definitely get with some of these other, crews that are out there. I mean, good for people like me and other streamers like myself, but as we know, the state of sports talk is dead. No one wants to watch two people argue or a panel argue with each other over something stupid. I feel like they have to realize, Sports Center was good when they had highlights, and it wasn't about this arguing back and forth with shitty sports takes. No one cares about that. Floater and complete by Eckhouse. That might have been able to get, ratings for young kids or old dudes, back in the day. But, for a majority of people, it's you want to be able to watch something that's informative, that's a little funny, but they're not trying too hard or forcing shit on you. It's what Good Morning Football used to be with Nate and Kay and Peter and Kyle, right? And what Good Morning Football had with also Pat McAfee show before he ended up kind of selling out with ESPN and then going that route. Those shows were good for a reason. And then now, those two shows aren't even as close as, as good as they used to be. They're still watchable, but they're not on the same level as they used to be for sure. And any of the other shows are unwatchable. First Take and all those other shows, garbage. You couldn't pay me to watch those. Terrible. First time out, 3rd down and 7 for the Cougs. I mean, especially when people are fake and they don't actually believe what they're saying. Just to argue, who cares? Is that really what it's come down to? It's like you already get a lot of fake TV out there, with shows that supposedly are quote unquote real, but they're not. It's all staged. But I mean, there's an entertainment value, even for shows that are staged. But I feel with like sports stuff, you'd rather be able to find people that aren't biased and just call it how it is, and not being controversial. You're just calling out what things are, and not having to argue over dumb things, just educating sport fans the right way. So that way when they get into their fan group, they don't act like a dumbass and say dumb things, Imagine if you ended up watching like ESPN First Take, and that's like the type of programming that you're going to watch. You're going to get absolutely roasted if you're taking everything that they say to heart. It's like you're almost going to get dumber as a fan rather than smarter. Bad information from a lot of these networks. 4th down and 2. Shotgun set for Eckhouse, who's been very good so far besides one bad throw. Shotgun set, Eckhouse right up the middle, and stopped by the Orange. Great defense. He said, I'm going to bear hug the fuck out of you. Wow. Big bear hug by the Orange. Big stop by Clark and company. Wow. Try to pick him up and do a Brock Lesnar F5 there. He said, put me down. Handoff. LeQuint Allen Jr., short game. I got this really awesome Oregon Duck computer pad. You know how they have like little computer pad for your mouse? Like imagine like 5 of those put together, right? So like right now I can use it for my mouse, but then my microphones are on top of it as well as some other equipment right here in front of me. But I mean, it takes up a good chunk of my table right here, but it's got puddles on the left, green and yellow, Oregon Ducks, Oregon on it. So I don't know, my dad and my family, they definitely know what would be good, as far as gifts are concerned. And I just set it up. Works nice. Good colors. Eventually, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it all set up properly with my microphones and everything else. Like, is it going to sit properly? But works really nice here. I'm liking it. I never knew they had anything like this before, or they have like computer mats, so it's like, the size of, normal mouse pads, but like 4 or 5 put together. So it's like one big pad, that you can use, for whatever. Obviously you can use one side of it for your mouse pad, but also it's decorative and whatnot. So I can kind of show my duck, fandom and whatnot. But I never knew they made anything like this through the Oregon Ducks. So, yeah, I mean, everyone deserves to be able to get something special, no matter who you are. But, obviously my dad is a collector like myself. So, he knows exactly what I like. Rare, weird, cool sports collectibles that most people won't have, or they're harder to find and whatnot. Let me see if I can get this Dylan Gabriel hoodie. See if I can show you. Let me see if I can grab it here. And I don't know if it's going to show because it's got some green on it. Let's see what it looks like when I put it up to the green screen. Looks like it didn't really get distorted when I pulled it up there for you guys to see. And again, it's not like I specifically said, "Hey, I need to get some, Dylan Gabriel stuff or any player, custom stuff." Like it wouldn't have mattered if it was Gabriel or Tez or anybody on the defense and whatnot. But pretty cool. Then I ended up getting the Dylan Gabriel refractor, gem mint PSA 10 rookie card too. I wasn't expecting that either, but cool that. My dad knows me as well as he does and whatnot, so wasn't going to wear that downtown. Yesterday I didn't want to ruin it or anything like that. I figured if I end up wearing the Dylan Gabriel, I'll either wait, till a little bit later. I don't know. We'll see if I end up wearing a jersey, during the matchup against Ohio State, or maybe I'll end up wearing that hoodie for extra luck for DG. But I definitely love it though. And they have quite a few of those custom shirts and custom hoodies that you can get, and I think a lot of those are a lot. It also depends on the, brand that they're using when they make these custom ones, but they're definitely better than a lot of Nike, because a lot of these, big companies, they don't make, those custom t-shirts. You have to find it, through usually kind of a custom website, and as long as they actually have a good, 3D printer or, imaging printer to put on clothes, and they actually have a good brand of the sweatshirt that they're using, whether it's like a Hanes or a generic one or even a high quality one, that can make all the difference. So reverse there by Pena. Reflect in the building. What's good? Hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas Eve and Christmas. Watched you guys win 6-3 against the Bears in the lowest scoring game in the NFL. Not ideal, but at least you won rather than lost. Can you imagine what the Hawk fan base would have done if they lost 6-3? You guys would have lost your fucking minds. It's bad enough, to only be at 6-3, but I guess being at 3 is worse than being at 6. But, with obviously everything on the line and the previous week with the Packer game and having to play the Rams obviously next week, you may fall short. Obviously Seattle and Tampa aren't looking very good lately, but we're still in it. But we'll find out if, we get leapfrogged by the, obviously the Rams and the Falcons, and they end up, taking the spots in the playoffs. But based on how we've both played lately, it's not like Seattle or Tampa would win a game in the playoffs, more than likely. We don't look very good. Tackled from behind. Nice tackle by the Cougs. But you did triple up Houston's score, right? It could be also, I don't know what it was going on, based on Christmas and the day after, but 2 points by the Texans, and then 3 by Chicago and 6 by Seattle. And I get it, offensive line has problems and whatnot, but I don't think anyone anticipated 6-3. We want better quality games, but sometimes, you end up getting some duds. But at least you ended up winning, though. Hopefully you and your son and your family had a good Christmas. Got to see a lot of cool things yesterday. Went to the arcade. Ended up beating in a vintage Spider-Man game with my buddy. We ended up to Bates Chicken. Had a fantastic meal, one of the best meals that I've ever had. Then ended up going to the Blazer game, and Scoot Henderson ended up having a fadeaway jumper at the buzzer to win. Super fun day yesterday. And then I also got to meet up with one of my former sales friends that I haven't seen in 5 to 6 years. And as we were waiting by the bathroom to leave, I got a hug from behind me, and I was like, oh, and he's like, can I get through? And then I noticed it was my friend Greg. So anytime you can end up seeing somebody that you haven't seen in 5 to 6 years, definitely put a big smile to my face. And we exchanged information, and maybe I'll be able to meet up with him for some food or a drink down the road. But Greg, it was awesome seeing you, my guy. They're down to 9. Shotgun set by Kyle McCord. Audible at the line. Reflect with a 9er. Thank you so much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Let me know what you want to do for photos. And I gotcha. We're at 20, 80 to go. McCord, the former Buckeye, sideline, flag on the play. We'll see if that ends up being offensive pass interference or defensive pass interference. But Kyle McCord, very good on the back shoulder throw. He's executed that throw 4 or 5 times already in this first half, putting it right on a dime. Meeks, pass interference on the defense, and he still caught that ball. I did. You were like, "Oh, dog, where are you? Are you okay?" Yeah, normally I don't, miss, 2 or 3 days in a row, but we had Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then obviously I would have done that Hawks-Bears game. And no offense to any of the Hawks or Bears fans, but I'm kind of glad that I ended up meeting up with my best friend instead. We would have still streamed the whole game. It's not like we would have ended the stream early. We probably would have started talking about other random things and putting up random photos, especially at a 6-3 game. But, for one of the worst NFL games of the year at a 6-3 score, I still ended up watching it on my phone while we were at the arcade and at the restaurant. So I didn't watch every, minute of the game, but I got to see most of it, on my phone. I pulled it up for both of us to watch while we were gaming and eating and then obviously getting ready for that Blazer game. So, but hopefully we don't see too many games like that the rest of the way. The, Texans scoring a 2 or Bears and Hawks scoring 3 and 6. Hopefully we get more than that. And we have a challenge here. Call on the field as a catch. Yeah, and it was crazy too. My best friend has ESP because he said that, he thought that we were going to win by a buzzer beater before the game even started. And I said, man, Scoot and Ayton, have been criticized quite a bit. It would be kind of funny if they ended up playing good. We were kind of joking. And those were the 2 guys out of a few others that ended up having some pretty solid games. And, Laurie Markkinen, that was, drafted by the Bulls, was tearing it up. And it was very back and forth. And we got down, late in the 3rd and 4th quarter, made a little bit of a run. The cheer sticks were flowing in our section. And it was a lot of fun. And to be able to see, them win. Obviously, both teams are terrible, Jazz and Blazers. But me and my buddy have a good winning percentage when we go to games. I think out of all of the Blazer game and Mariner games that we've ever been to, I think we've only been to 1 loss ever. And we've gone to a lot of games. And that's with Mariners and Blazers. So usually when we go together, for whatever reason, the sports gods, they want to shine down and make sure that we have a good time. And almost lost last night, but Scoot with that fadeaway jumper laid, and the crowd was rocking. Incomplete pass. Cool kid in the building. What's good? Yeah, and then Blaze, the mascot, came up, into the little section. Got a little dap and hug, and cheerleaders were right there. And, those cheerleaders for the Blazers, just like a lot of the NBA ones, I swear to God, all of them are like 4'10", 5 foot, and they look like they weigh like 75 to 85 pounds. They are mini women, mini ladies. They are not 6 foot. They are not 5'8". They are not 5'5", like all of them that were like literally 4'10", 5 foot. Maybe 100 pounds, if that. Probably not, though. And some of them obviously have to be picked up, where they can do tricks and whatnot. But I don't think I've seen so many tiny little pretty ladies for the Blazers cheerleaders than last night. That was a sight to see, to say the least. First down and 10, 28-21, Orange. Yeah, I had a good meal. Had the turkey, had the ham, mashed potatoes and gravy, mac and cheese, pumpkin pie, apple pie, and I got leftovers that I've been eating on and munching on. So things have been pretty good these last few days. Again, and I'll be watching Miami and Iowa State tomorrow, but we will be streaming BYU and Colorado for Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Then we're going to do the Falcons and Commandos on Sunday night, Lions and Niners on Monday night, and then we'll be doing Boise State and Penn State on Tuesday night, Christmas Eve. Or not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. And then the next day after that will be Ohio State, Oregon at the Rose Bowl. So every single day we're going to be pumping out college football or NFL, and I'm excited. Flag on the play. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down. Ryan is still on probation, but still listening on another account. $3 holla. Good running room by the Orange. First down, Syracuse. Move the chains. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus stack, bang, bang, $3 holla. Appreciate you. We're at 23, 67 to go. He might be on probation, but we'll still hook him up with a couple photos of his favorite guy, favorite team, or one of his favorite on this current team. I mean, it's kind of hard not to like Herbert if you're a Charger fan, considering all the other quarterbacks they've had up to this point. I got some pretty incredible Mariner stuff reflect. I got some Ichiro merchandise from Japan. Like they had these card giveaways where you would have to go to Japan and Nissan of Japan. And if you ended up test driving a car back when Ichiro was on like the Oryx Blue Wave, before he made it to the major leagues, that they would give you like a promo card. And that was the only way that you could get this promo card or playing card, of Ichiro. And there's also one that was like a calling card. And my dad ended up getting it from this guy in Japan. And that was one of my gifts and whatnot. So I'll send you a photo so you can see what they look like. Pretty cool. One is like a circular card, obviously from the promo from Nissan. And then the other one, Ichiro, on the promo circular card, it looks like he's like 17 to 19. But on the other one, that's it looks like more of like a baseball card. It's a calling card, like we used to obviously have here with regular phones and phone booths. And that one, Ichiro looks like he's like 15 or like 14. It's incredible. And I also got a Ichiro PSA autograph photo, my very first PSA Ichiro auto with this amazing kind of like iPad frame that my dad found. Incredible. I've never seen a frame like that where there's no edges. It's just completely smooth. So when you hold on to it, it's almost like holding on to an iPad with the photo in there. Incredible. So got some pretty cool Ichiro things and some duck things as well. Floater, touchdown, Orange. Arande, Dawson the second. All right, Gadsden, I see you. It's second tutty. 34-21, and I imagine they'll just kick the extra point here. Yeah, it's let me see here. It's from the autograph photo I have. It's from the World Baseball Classic, and it's not like a regular, like a baseball card, photo. It's like a freelance photographer took it, when they're holding the Japanese flag when Japan, and Ichiro was on the team that they beat the USA on. And it's got him and another Japanese player that was on there as well. But it's got Ichiro on there, autographed, as well as Muninori Kawasaki that was on the team as well. And we know Muninori Kawasaki was on the Blue Jays and the Cubs. So pretty cool. But I'll show you real quick. Let's see if I can send those. So if you check your phone, I'll send these to you now. Reflect so you can kind of see. Very cool items too. Like, I've never seen items like this. And again, you can only get it in Japan. So my dad was lucky enough to have those show up when they did. Got a rare Lou Piniella bauble, Brett Boone bauble as well. So it was just kind of weird because, like I said, I dug around and I found some Ichiro stuff, like I mentioned, like a week before Christmas. And then all of a sudden I ended up getting a bunch of Ichiro things on top of that. So I don't know what's going on with the, sports gods or my family, but it just seems like it's very weird. Like whenever I end up doing something or seeing something or saying something, and then all of a sudden it leads to, that thing happening later. I don't know. It's just so weird that it happens to me all the time. Like, I was thinking about my friend Greg, about a week before. I haven't seen him, in 5 or 6 years. And then all of a sudden I'm at the Blazer game and I had 20,000 people. Who's going to give me a little, nudge on the shoulder? But him with his son. Like, what are the chances of me running into, my friend that I haven't seen in 5 to 6 years at the end of the Blazer game? Not very likely. You have to be at that right gate, at that right area, and he saw me and knew it was me and whatnot. But it was very cool to be able to see him. Crazy, right? Especially the calling card. So the first circular card is the promo card, and on the back of it, it's like got like Joker. So it's like almost like playing cards and whatnot. And then the second one, where he looks super young, like he's 15, that one is like kind of like a baseball card, calling card in Japan. Very cool. And both of those are in mint. And then obviously, as you can see on the bottom one, the frame is incredible. My dad always has the knack, and that frame is all one piece and it's smooth on the top. I've never had a frame that had that much swagger. And obviously, PSA, right when they ended up winning the gold medal. My dad has incredibly good taste, obviously for Dodger stuff and Mariner stuff, and I'm so blessed. Halftime, 35-21, Orange. I missed you guys very, very much. What do you guys want to do for photos? Let me know, and I got you. Yeah, super young. And then it's kind of funny because remember I told you I found like the bobblehead of Ichiro and those Russian nesting dolls of Ichiro. And then as I was just talking about how I just found the bauble, I opened up one of my gifts and I got an Ichiro bauble from his rookie year in 2001, Upper Deck, and it comes with a card. But something was like, kind of nagging at me. It's like, oh, cool. I don't mind if I get doubles of a gift. I can always give one to my best friend, And then when I get home, I realized that they made 3 different versions of the Ichiro bobblehead, right? They have a blue jersey one that I had. I got the white one, and then they have a gray one. So at the end of the day, I actually didn't get doubles. I ended up getting the one I didn't have. So my dad is on it, so I really appreciate that. But let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. Let's go through some of the photos that we have done here so far. 35-21, Syracuse at halftime. But we'll see if the Cougs can battle back. But we got a little bit of Gino or captain early on. And then little Jonah Coleman. And then Travis Hunter for Sarah. We'll be doing that. Bowl game tomorrow against BYU, 4:30 Pacific. And then obviously Ryan. Little Herb. Now, he is a true one of one. A very thoughtful, a collector. And he's always going to be looking at different options of things to be able to get. And I never have a bad birthday or Christmas. I'm a huge collector. He's a huge collector, and I never know what I'm going to end up getting. So. I'm getting the, what did I get? I have a Troy Aikman bobble. So I'll wait for a Cowboy fan that I'll end up meeting that, appreciates the old school era. And I'll probably gift that to somebody one day. But the Lou Piniella bobble and the Brett Boone bobble, I have no Lou Pinellas or Brett Boone. So that was kind of cool. And those are from way back in the day, like when they were managing and playing for the Mariners back then. So, yeah, I definitely had a nice little come up. For sure. A little bit of Duck stuff. I gave a Bo Nix rookie card away to my buddy. Got a Dylan Gabriel graded card. And then I got another like 50 or 60 Ichiro singles in a box from my dad as well. My dad's always looking for deals and stuff. Even if the cards are only worth 50 cents to $1 and, they're not all rookies, a lot of them are, second, third, fourth, fifth, eighth-year cards. To be able to get 50 or 60 Ichiro cards for like $5, why the hell not, add to the collection, so. We're at 23. Let's get to a hundo. Anything you want to be able to see reflect? It doesn't have to be sport related. It can be like musician, whatever you want. It could be landscape, whatever you're thinking. So you let me know. But a good first half so far between Syracuse and the Cougs. Eckhouse run for 4 yards to get it to be 7-0. Then Kyle McCord answered back with Pena with a 19-yard tutty, 7-6. 2-point conversion failed. Then LaQuint Allen, the stud running back for Syracuse, ended up getting in with a 12-yard scamper. Right, 2-point conversion was good on that one, 14-7. Then Eckhouse went to Kyle Williams, maybe the best player on the field, 66-yard tutty, made it 14-14. Then you had a blocked punt of Syracuse that was scooped and scored by Josh Meredith. Then it was 21-14. Then we went into the second quarter after the Cougs had a 7-point lead, and it was all Syracuse. McCord passed to Gadsden for a tutty, 21-21. And then we also had Allen with another rushing touchdown, his second of the day, LaQuint Allen. And then McCord again to Gadsden for his second tutty through the air. And now we're at 35-21, Syracuse. Nice. That will be something that I'll have to get at some point as well. Either like City Connect or, Teal or something. But I definitely need to get myself one too. You demand. I got you. Good choice. God, Emmanuel Acho is so annoying. The way that he talks, it's like the fakest person on planet Earth. It's terrible. It's so cringy. It's like, bro, you are terrible. Nobody thinks you're educated because you wear glasses. You are terrible. I thought LaShawn McCoy was bad. Man, Acho might be the worst. Terrible. Yeah, I agree. Nobody is taking Emmanuel Acho's advice. Golly. Making my ears bleed. Acho's even worse than one of the individuals that we get kind of fed up with that we listen to. I would rather listen to Chris Collinsworth 8 hours straight than listen to Acho for 5 minutes. I'm not lying. He is terrible. Golly. Yeah, Acho's even worse than Stephen A, and it's hard to be worse than Stephen A. There you go. I think that game is going to be a blowout, in my personal opinion. I know Boise State's a great story, just like Arizona State with Scadaboo, and Ashton Genty. But the only problem is like they need a lot more to be able, and they're both going to be at home, Arizona State and Boise State. But the chances of them winning against Penn State and Texas is like zero. I don't see it happening, whatsoever. And if anything, I could see both of those teams blowing out the other two. Texas should blow out Arizona State by 14 or more, and Boise State should lose by 14 or more to Penn State. Really the only, quote unquote close one might be Oregon and Ohio State. Even Georgia and Notre Dame, that one should be close as well. But Georgia should win. But again, Notre Dame has shown that they can kind of hang around. But again, they haven't got to play a team like Georgia. So even though Notre Dame will fight like hell, I just don't see them beating Georgia. But we'll see if I'm right. I went 4-0 in my first picks, but we'll see. An upset is going to happen at some point. But again, it may be further along down the road. But I got Texas winning big, Penn State winning big, Oregon State, Ohio State, Oregon could go either way, and then I got Georgia beating Notre Dame. But I think that one could possibly be closer. Like Georgia Notre Dame could be by 10 or less. It could be 7 or less. Hell, it could even it could be Georgia by 3 or by 6. But I don't know. I just kind of feel that. As good as Notre Dame is, they don't have the same type of athletes as Georgia. But again, Beck is out. The backup looks better than Beck anyways. So we'll see how it goes. But I know one side of the ball has got a little bit more NFL, ready defensive players than Georgia. So, Notre Dame has had pretty good success against kind of teams that are, decent. But this will be their first test. Can you beat a team like Georgia? I don't know. But we'll find out. Yeah, Oregon and Boise State were tight, but that was also when Oregon's offensive line was a fucking mess, and everything else. So, again, Boise State and Genty will, play like, animals, and they're going to try. They're going to be at home, but I just don't see any scenario that they beat Penn State. I just don't see it. Tyler Warren and everyone else, Aller, I just don't see it. They got too much speed. I just don't see any scenario. I mean, the only thing that Boise State and Arizona State got going for them is they're playing at home. But unfortunately, you're playing against Penn State and you're playing against, another powerhouse in Texas for those teams. So hopefully Boise State and Arizona State don't get embarrassed. But maybe the only way that they win or get it close is if Genty and Scadaboo both go off. But I don't know if they're going to go off against defenses like, they're going to be playing, in Texas as well as Penn State. But we'll find out, right? Yeah, and obviously neutral is going to be key. Obviously the first round probably should have been neutral as well, but home field is a big advantage. But obviously being at our particular bowl games, it'll be more of a home game for Oregon than it will be for Ohio State. Ohio State fans will travel very well, but again, it should be like our own little backyard there at the Rose Bowl, and we've had pretty good success there, so we'll have a lot of green and yellow there for sure. getting back to the second half here shortly. Hopefully no more Acho. Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out, but we want to make sure we have as close as possible of having the best 4 teams, and obviously not having Ohio State in there, or Oregon is definitely a flaw. But if we end up getting Texas and Oregon, for one semifinal, and then obviously it ends up being Penn State and Georgia for the other, that will give you 4 out of the 5 best teams. And obviously, if Notre Dame loses, they're out, and if Ohio State loses, they're out, and those are the other 2. So, obviously, it's going to be harder for Ohio State and Notre Dame to get there. They have a chance, but Penn State, Georgia would be very, very close. And it could go either way, but I think Georgia would get a little bit of the nod. And then obviously Oregon and Texas. A lot of people would be probably rooting for Texas to beat Oregon, but again, that might end up being the real natty. Oregon and Ohio State and Oregon, Texas might be better than Oregon, Penn State, or Oregon, Georgia. Who knows? You don't really know how the games are going to play out, but I'm hoping that we can beat Ohio State, beat Texas, and then play Georgia in the natty and go all the way. I mean, unless Penn State ends up being the best in that bottom bracket, or Notre Dame, but I feel that Georgia, with the players that they have, they're going to have a good shot, but you got to get it done. Got to have that hard path, and hopefully that the committee will learn in the future, that maybe putting in a 9-3 Alabama team, if they actually played against ranked opponents, would be better than 11-1 Indiana. It's like cool to be able to see Indiana get there, but again, we don't want to see them get absolutely demolished. Once they actually play someone that's good for the first time all year. It's like I feel like strength of schedule means more than wins. But again, they did it based off wins this year, and I imagine that their format will change next year. And hopefully that they'll, reward the number 1 seeds. There should be no way in hell that Oregon's first game is Ohio State in the future. Like, that should be a matchup that we get to see who makes the championship. Like, if you get Ohio State at the end, not in like the middle of the tourney, but so many good teams on that top side of the bracket. So, but we'll see how it goes. And this halftime is taking way too long. I know it's the Holiday Bowl, but they should have already got this started already. 35-21, Syracuse. This is pacing to be like a fucking 4-hour stream. Jesus. I mean, this halftime period for the Holiday Bowl is like, it feels like the Super Bowl. Like, why are we taking like 30 to 45 minutes for halftime? That's what it feels like. So let's get the games going again. It's a freaking Holiday Bowl. This isn't the Natty or the Super Bowl. Notre Dame, they do, but have they been able to do it against a real top-tier defense like Georgia? They're not going to be able to put up as much, and their quarterback isn't going to look very good. Like you said, you can look good against mid-tier talent, but I imagine he's going to be running for his fucking life against Georgia. Offense, they got Etienne at running back, and they'll have a backup quarterback in there, so I don't expect a whole lot out of Georgia's offense, but I feel like Georgia's defense might be good enough to win that game single-handedly. So where they might end up getting a pick six or a fumble or just, putting up so much pressure, on Notre Dame's offense where now we know that they have some athletic running backs and, they were able to rumble against Indiana, but they're not going to be able to play like they did against Indiana against fucking Georgia. No way in hell. But you never know. They might have enough offensively and defensively to get by Georgia. And I know a lot of us are kind of rooting for the new team to win. We've already seen Georgia plenty of times, and to get Notre Dame, into the Final Four would be pretty amazing, right? To not have Bama or Georgia or Ohio State, the three teams that have kind of held it down. And if we could end up getting, Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, that would still be pretty fucking exciting too. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't watch every single game of every single top 25 team, but I try to watch a lot to kind of gauge and give my insight. And I'm not going to be right about everything, but again, I was right on all four picks. Obviously in the first round, we'll see, what we get in this next round, but don't be surprised if, you get a blowout by Penn State, you get a blowout by Texas. It's not Boise State and Arizona State's fault. It's just they're not on the same level as the other two teams, and then again, Oregon, Ohio State could go either way, but go Ducks. And then I got Georgia over Notre Dame, even though I would like to see Notre Dame beat Georgia, but I don't know. Like Notre Dame would literally have to play the perfect game, and they would have to probably get into the high 20s against Georgia, and I just don't know if Notre Dame can do that. Now, if they ended up getting a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, or a special teams touchdown, maybe that could be the difference in the game. But I don't know if you can count on Notre Dame of doing that against Georgia. But again, as long as you're playing, you have a chance. But Notre Dame, obviously has a good chance, not necessarily like Boise State and Arizona State. It's Notre Dame has a higher probability of keeping it close. Both of those games could end up being by 3 or less, like 34-31 Oregon over Ohio State. Could end up being 28-27, Notre Dame, or 28-25 or 27-24, something like that. It could end up being pretty fucking close. But it just kind of feels like you're going to get 2 blowouts and 2 really close games. And then once it gets to that next round, then everything should be close. Like you get all the bad teams out of there, and the top 6 go at it. And then obviously it'll end up being into the, top 4, at that point, once you're, and then you end up having those matchups, and Oregon, Texas could go either way. And if it's Penn State, Georgia, or Penn State, Notre Dame, that could go either way. So we're definitely lining up for something special. Second down and 10, little toss. That might have been the longest halftime show in my life. Third down. I got DVR. I'm always locked in. Even if I can't watch it live, I got to be able to watch and evaluate. Little sneak. First down, Wazoo. Move the chains. But out of all the teams that are left in the college football playoff besides Arizona State, I've watched quite a bit. And like I said, I started to watch a little bit later in the season, but I didn't watch a lot of early stuff of Arizona State. But I would say that's the only team but I've watched enough highlights and read up enough on them that, Scatterboo is amazing, but, I don't know if they're going to have enough to compete on that end against fucking Texas. Because to me, the champion will either be Oregon or Texas. That's what it kind of feels like. If Oregon beats Ohio State, it feels like that's going to be the champion of college football, whoever wins on that top bracket. Oregon, if they win and beat Ohio State, we play Texas and lose, Texas is going all the way. But if we end up beating Ohio State and we beat Texas, we're going to go all the way. Because we're going to be battle-tested at that point against the Buckeyes and the Longhorns. If you can get past the Buckeyes and the Longhorns, Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame should be, I don't want to say easy breezy cover girl, but we're already going to be feeling pretty good at that point if we can beat, two teams that, because if you think about it, Ohio State and Texas could beat Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia. Like, it's legit, like, both of those teams might be better than the bottom three. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But again, Georgia missing their starting quarterback. They got some injuries as well. Again, and we'll see, Kirby Smart and his coaching staff, if they can, find the right formula to get it done. Little short pass. I mean, it'll be shocking as hell if Boise State or Arizona State wins. Then the whole turning is going to be, I don't know. It's just going to be crazy if we end up getting that to happen. But I just don't see any scenario that Penn State and Texas lose. But, that's why we watch these games, right? And hopefully that if they do lose, hopefully it's close. Not like 17, 20-point blowouts. Eckhouse. Oh, he dropped it. Incomplete. Fourth down and 4 with a flag. End of the play. Unsportsmanlike defense. Uh-oh. Automatic first down. Yeah, and Barron, you're not going to lock up Kyle Williams. Nice try. You've had 2 bloody noses, and you like talking shit, but you want to go one-on-one with Kyle Williams. Good luck. Yeah, but whatever happens, hopefully it ends up being fun, and the games are close and competitive. Better than what we got in that first round in the playoff, where all of them were pretty much blowouts. So hopefully, we get some closer games. And some, some surprises. That's always fun, too. I would rather have Texas, though. I want to play the best of the best. I don't want to get in, just playing against a team that's, they were projected to finish last and won the Big 12, but the Big 12 is some shit. Let's be real. Big 12 stinks. They're not good. So, it could still be the best team in the Big 12, but they're not on Oregon's level. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Like, if that was like Oregon's first round matchup, like if we played in the first round, that would be a good first round matchup, but, if you're about to, make your way to the Natty, I don't know. I wouldn't want to see Arizona State. That would be a kind of a letdown. Give me Texas. I want to be able to feel the sweat, beating down my neck, my arm hair standing up, and having that actual threat of losing, bringing out the best in our players and our coaches. And that's going to happen with Ohio State, Texas, and then whoever the hell we play, Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame. So I think actually playing Texas in the Natty would probably be the best scenario if, Texas was on the bottom end of the bracket. But, if we have to get Oregon, Penn State, Oregon, Georgia, Oregon, Notre Dame, so be it, if we can get there. Janikowski, the kicker. Yeah, DK is hella immature. He loves to talk, and he can't control his emotions. He's got too much anger. Talking shit, finger pointing, headbutting. Let's get rid of him. Kick is up. No good. I don't think the wide receiving core would be weak. Your offensive line could be better. You could promote Jake Bobo, even if Tyler Lockett retires and DK moves on. JSN could be the one. You get a tight end in the draft, get another wide receiver like a Darnell Mooney in free agency, just for, temporary. Move up Jake Bobo, get him some opportunities to be the third or fourth option. It's not like the game, if anything, watching this team this year, if you get less supporting cast, for the running backs and the wide receivers, you already have Walker and Charbonnet, but again, even if you lose two of the receivers, gain another free agent, another rookie, a tight end, build the O-line, you're going to win more games. It's not just going to be about, we have DK Metcalf. I mean, how's that working for you? It's not like he plays like Mike Evans or A.J. Brown. He's overrated. Every few games, he'll end up having 120 and 2 tutties, but like how many games are you going to have to go through before he has a breakout game? Like every 4 to 6 games. So like three games in a season, he'll break out, and then the rest, it's just like you have to wait and see. I don't know. I feel with him, it's like, he's had plenty of time to mature, and if anything, he's gotten less mature. He's still doing the same shit that he did early on, and a lot of those decisions that he makes, it hurts the team. So, I mean, there's a lot of, lower name guys that you could get cheaper. Hell, you get rid of DK, you could end up getting a couple offensive linemen or offensive linemen and another wide receiver based off, what you're paying, so. Again, he's a big name, but that doesn't mean that JSN can't be the number one. I mean, they already kind of use him like a one. You promote Jake Bobo. You see what Lockett is able to do. You draft a tight end or get a better free agent tight end than Noah Fant. Build the O-line, and the team will be much better. It's like, it doesn't mean that like you have to have DK to be successful. If anything, if you get rid of him, then you'll be more successful. Look at the Chargers. They got rid of Eckler. They got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Everyone thought that their offense would be terrible, and the team is better without them. Sometimes it's addition by subtraction, even though those guys have been amazing all those years, right? Eckler, awesome. Mike Williams, awesome, even though he was injury prone. Keenan Allen, awesome, right? And then obviously now, J.K. Dobbins, Gus the Bus, and they obviously got Ladd McConkey, and they're not able to score as much offensively, but they're more efficient running the ball and playing defense, and they actually are winning more games because the defense and the coaching is more disciplined. So sometimes you have to get rid of guys to be able to be better. Josh Allen had Diggs and Gibbon Davis, got rid of the Panthers, have James Cook. You got Fakir, Keon Coleman, and some of these other guys. They picked up Amari Cooper. Now the offense is better. So just because you have big name guys doesn't mean it's going to lead, to a deep run in the playoffs or the Super Bowl. Sometimes those big name guys that have big name contracts and they have maturity issues, they hold your team back from getting better because you have to keep paying a guy like that, or you could get rid of him, get a couple offensive linemen in return, and then actually be a better team overall. Maybe you don't score as much. Maybe some of the wide receiver stats are a little lower, but again, if your offensive line is better, Geno's more efficient, defense is better, offensive line can run block, pass block, that's going to lead to a better chance of winning the NFC West. Floater, one-on-one. First down, Orange. Move the chains. I mean, especially if it's the second worst line in football. Who gives a shit about Lockett and DK? Lockett's old. DK's overrated. JSN is the truth. He's young. He can step up into that role. But again, it's like you want to be able to have guys that are team players, not me players. And unfortunately, I think Lockett is great, but he's just getting old, right? And he's just Mr. Do-It-All, great hands, but he's getting old, right? And obviously with DK, it's just too immature. DK is more about me than team, and I think it's pretty clear to see, and it will hurt some, fans of getting rid of a quote-unquote superstar receiver, but if you keep paying guys like that and ignoring the offensive line, you guys are never going to be able to improve and make a deep run, and ultimately you want to be able to, run the ball, pass the ball with Geno or whoever the hell it is, because obviously Sam Howell ain't good enough to be the starter. Hand off up the middle. First down, Orange through the chains. You know, good teams build on the O-line and D-line. You know, look at Detroit. You know, look at all the other teams that build from the O-line and the D-line inwards out, not focusing on quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Teams that focus on those positions first never hit their true potential. Never. You know, they might be able to put butts in the seats, you know, for a few seasons, but again, you have to be able to, you know, have a good O-line and D-line and build from there. O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, play calling. That's what's fucking important. Not quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. And obviously good GMs and scouts understand this, and bad ones don't get it. Big tackle for loss there by the Cougs. Like, just because I'm not a Seahawk fan doesn't mean that I don't have a pulse on the team. Like, I feel that, you know, I read and watch film and watch just as much as any Seahawk fanatic. But just because I'm not a Hawk fan per se doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about. Because most people aren't going to watch the games or read and tune in, you know, to what needs to be done, right? And obviously others in the room, like Reflect, understand, you know, it's, you know, things need to change. They already, the Pete Carroll era fucked everything up because they didn't address the offensive line or the Legion of Boom after that. Floater incomplete. Like, you already knew the Legion of Boom was a one-of-one thing. Marshawn Lynch was a one-of-one thing. But after, you know, that era ended, they should have been focusing on offensive line and defensive line. And if they did, they would be in a hell of a lot better position now than they are currently, right? Getting Creed Humphrey and, you know, trying to make sure you're, you know, but again, if you don't have the right evaluators, you know, in the building, you're going to keep missing. And they missed on the offensive line for like 15 fucking years. Like, how are you supposed to be good when you miss on the offensive line in the draft for like 10 or 15 years? You know, I mean, obviously you got guys in the building that don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't recognize the talent. They might be a good kid. They might have a good grades. They might be a nice guy. But at the end of the day, that's not going to be all the categories you need. You know, good team player. He's smart, you know, but again, it might not be a fit. You know, he might be injury prone. He might not develop into an NFL player. You know, got to have good evaluators. Well, the thing is with this, you get rid of DK, you get some O-line, you don't have Pete Carroll and company there making the decisions on the O-line picks. So you assume that McDonald is smarter and is going to be able to evaluate better for his guys, and hopefully they draft better there. And the kick is no good. You know, some you know, coaches are good evaluators of certain positions, you know, but others are not, like Belichick, terrible at quarterbacks, but great at defensive players. You know, but for whatever reason in that Seattle era, they just didn't understand what was good on the offensive line, you know. And obviously, you know, trading away your best offensive lineman in Unger, you know, one of the best that you've had in the last 25 years for Jimmy Graham, that should have told you right there that they don't know what they're doing. You know, they would rather get splash players at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, you know, and they're not even focusing on the tight end. That's still a need, as well as the O-line, you know, and they're, oh, this is good enough, you know, but apparently it's not, right? I mean, lots of epic failures on the draft. I saw a fucking board of every offensive line draft pick they've had in like 20 years. And if you look to see if any of those guys are still on the team or good, it's not a good board to be looking at. You know, and I feel like, you know, that's probably the most important position in football is O-line. And if you got like the worst evaluators, you know, on the team picking and you know, getting free agents and drafting O-linemen, I mean, it's making your team go backwards instead of going forwards. So. I mean, look at like, even like myself, like, you know, we could have gotten Jackson Powers Johnson, right? Then they passed on him for Graham Barton because he could play guard, center, and tackle. Graham Barton has been good this year. Jackson Powers Johnson looks like he needs to go back to Oregon. You know, he's not there. Like, it's going to take him a little bit more time. Obviously being on the Raiders compared to the Bucks, the coaching is better on my team, and maybe he would be better on the Bucks than he would be on the Raiders. But we made the smart choice. Now, of course, did I want Bucky Irving and Jackson Powers Johnson? Of course. Getting some Duck players. But again, just because you're on the Oregon Ducks doesn't mean that you're going to be a good NFL player. And Jackson Powers Johnson is nowhere near Graham Barton. And again, we've hit on our O-line. And if you go back and look at certain teams that have hit on their O-line or their D-line, there are certain teams that draft really well every year. Tampa's one of them. Detroit is another one. Like, you just have to look at how these teams are built. And imagine if you had the offensive line or defensive line of some of these other teams, and what kind of, adjustment that could be made for your particular team. I mean, hell, we don't even need the Seahawks to be top 5, top 10 O-line. You just need to be in the top 15, not 31 out of 32, and then we're cooking. And then eventually, if they end up having a top 10 line, they're probably in the NFC Championship game. If they keep improving the defense under McDonald and getting a tight end like Bowers eventually, it's like you don't need to even have a top 5 offensive line. You just need to be better than what you are now, which will take a lot of fucking time, because again, with all the bad picks over the years on the offensive line, it's made that unit terrible, and then when they win, they don't give Gino credit. And when they lose, it's only the head coach or Grubb or Gino's fault. Like, it's a little ridiculous, but that's how it goes. And just because Russ was able to run bootleg and run away and hide some of the weaknesses that they had, last time I checked, Gino can't run away from people like Russell did in his prime. Russell can't run anymore. Obviously, that was very apparent when we watched the Chief game. He hung on to the football way too fucking long. Steelers' offensive line is dog shit also. And, they didn't have time to go through their progressions. And even though we know the Steelers might be the 3rd or 4th best team in the AFC, they're nowhere near the Chiefs or the Bills because of the offensive line. And if the offensive line was better, then maybe the Steelers would have a chance against the Bills or the Chiefs in the playoffs, but they don't. So they will have zero chance to beat them. 3rd down and 2. Little screen. 1st down, Cougs. Move the chains. Yeah. I mean, everyone's going to have different opinions, but I mean, like, at some point, character means something, being genuine, being a hard worker, being a character guy. And, everything that we saw in that game against the Bears shows you why that is not someone that you would want, long term, especially, when you could be addressing the offensive line, the tight end, and other defensive positions. It's like, who cares if the wide receiver room is a little light for a year or two? If the offensive line goes from 31st to 16th, you don't think that's going to lead to more wins? JSN could break out, and end up being a top 10, top 12 receiver maybe. If the offensive line is better, he could end up getting, 10 tutties and 1,300 yards. Like, you don't need DK necessarily. It's nice to have a name there, but I mean, how productive is DK game in and game out? Give those targets to JSN and you get more touchdowns and more 1st downs and less flags. Just saying. 35-21, Syracuse. Yeah, and see, you're not even saying top 5 or top 10. You're just in the middle. In the middle. Seriously. I mean, everyone thinking that DK is A.J. Brown or Mike Evans. I mean, he's not. And on top of that, A.J. Brown and Mike Evans are not immature. It's like, you can't just keep talking shit to corners and safeties and thinking you're going to be a bully just because you have muscles and you're big. Like, you're hurting your team with penalties. 4th down and 1. I agree with that as well. I mean, he's a guy that people can buy his jersey, and he can be a popular guy on the offense, but just not what you guys need moving forward. 4th down and 1, QB sneak. Did he get it? First down, Cougs. No, like I said, you have to understand it. You don't necessarily need to draft a QB. Again, replacing coordinators and quarterbacks, that's like the weak version of trying to, get fast results without actually building the team the right way. Again, if you had a top 15 offensive line, right, no one would be talking about Geno. It's like when Geno does good with a terrible O-line, right, they don't give him credit. And when you guys lose with a bad O-line, they just want to blame everyone. Blame the coach, blame the GM, blame Geno. And instead of actually blaming what needs to be fucking blamed, right, is the offensive line. Offensive line dictates quarterback play, running back play, wide receiver play, tight end play, and the creativity out of your offensive coordinator. If you got 2.5 to 3.5 seconds, you can do everything. But the Hawks, unfortunately, have like 0.5 seconds. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to go through your progressions when you hike the ball and then you're already on your back 9 times out of 10? Kind of hard. Shotgun set. Floater towards the sideline, incomplete. And that would have been offsides there on Syracuse. Yeah, but I would fire Schneider for sure. Should have been fired at the same time as Carroll and moved on from there. But definitely Schneider needs to go. Doesn't know how to evaluate. And just pretty much keeping the job because the owner likes him, kind of that blind loyalty. But GM needs to go, and the whole O-line needs to be restructured. And, if you have a choice between paying PK or not, don't. But again, who knows if they got the right guys and evaluators in the building to recognize who is going to be a good piece. Tipped and complete. But the thing is you want Grubb to go, but it doesn't matter if you have Grubb or you end up having, Ben Johnson. You think that you would be able to get good results out of Ben Johnson as your OC? He leaves the Lions. He turns into your OC with your O-line, and then all of a sudden you can't score points or move the ball. Is that Ben Johnson's fault, or is it your offensive line's fault? So you have to look at it like that. You could still have the best offensive coordinator in the game, but if your offensive line fucking stinks, he's not going to look good. Floater, go, the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Cougs. You see what I'm saying? You can, we don't really know yet, and obviously we saw the offensive coordinator with Waldron, terrible, went to the Bears, terrible, and then let go. But regardless if you have the worst Waldron or you have the best Grubb, and you go to Ben Johnson as the best, if your offensive line isn't there, he can't be as creative and successful if you don't have time. And that's really the key. The offensive line gives you time to be more creative with your play calling instead of just having your quarterback turn the ball over and being on his back every fucking play. Nice tutty there by the Cougs. Wazoo. Extra point is up and good. Yep. And again, like I said, if you're a younger NFL fan, you're looking at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and you're looking at that as like important, but the reality is, it's about the coaching. It's about the play calling, the coordinators, the offensive line, the defensive line, the defense, the coaching, the play calling. Those are the things that fucking matter if you want to take your team to the next level. Because if you end up having a great O-line and a great defense, you don't have to have superstar quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end, because you can take a guy that's average with an elite offensive line, and then he goes from being average to good. Good players go from good to great, and then great players go to elite, just based off the offensive line improving. You could literally have average quarterback, average running backs, average wide receiver, average tight end, elite offensive line, top 5, top 10, and all those average players turn into good players just because of the offensive line. And again, people don't want to recognize that, but that's the truth. And if you end up having good players already, then they can turn into superstars. Like JSN is good, but with a good offensive line or great offensive line, JSN could be a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I'm not saying that he could be Justin Jefferson, but he could be maybe, at one point or another, if he got enough looks, he could be maybe the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th receiver in the NFL. I don't think that would be that crazy to think. He could end up putting up 10 tutties and 1,300 yards, and we wouldn't even bat an eye, So it really depends on, what you value in the NFL and in college. But we don't know, about Grubb yet. I mean, at least be thankful it's not Waldron, which is probably the worst, play caller in the NFL. At least you don't have that anymore. Hell, the Bears fucking suck, and they got rid of him. So what does that tell you? The Bears stink. I don't know if they thought, if we get rid of him, that we're going to start, scoring a shitload of points. Obviously, that's not the case. And again, if Caleb's offensive line was better, right? He hangs onto the football too much. But look at all the players that they got. Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. He's got a lot of weapons. But, if your O-line stinks and you hang on to the football too long, you put up 3 points against the Hawks at home and you lose. So I think as far as Grubb, is he the long-term answer? No. He's probably short-term. And then hopefully you'll get someone better than him. But you want to probably give him a couple years, to see if the offensive line gets better, DK's there or not, Lockett retires, JSN becomes the 1, Bobo turns into the 3, and then they end up getting another player to come over to complement JSN, like a Mooney or a Drake London type, where maybe you don't have to spend as much money in DK, and then you can still get a good polished receiver that can help you. But obviously getting offensive linemen is important when you're 31 out of 32 in the NFL. I mean, you literally need to blow up everything. 35, 28, orange. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, terrible. And it's like you have to recognize, it's like player evaluation. Everyone can watch football, like, us in this room and other people, but that doesn't mean that we're looking at the same things. Like, some of us see things differently than others, even though we're watching the same game. So, people that evaluate the film, not everyone is created equal when they can see the technique and the tendencies, and again, there has to be intangibles as well, hard worker, teammate, more of a team than me, he's a good family guy, he's got good structure with, his supporting cast that's around him, there's going to be so many things that you can check off the boxes, but, apparently, they haven't, had good evaluators in that building for, when's the last time that they were relevant on that position? When they had Hutchinson and, back in the day, when they had, Brown and Hutchinson? It's been a while. Walter Jones, Hutchinson. That's the last time that they were, good on that side. It's like, pretty much you run left, and that's Sean Alexander with a huge game. But maybe that's the last time that they were considered, like, good, back then. But, that's the last time that we remember the Hawks O-line actually being worth a damn. When they had two amazing Pro Bowl, All-Pro players, right, in Jones and Hutchinson, both on the left side. They said, Alexander, Sean, run. And then they can get a first down no matter what. They don't even need to run to the other side. You just go to that same side where both players, pretty much dominated. And two guys on that side could take out three guys on the opposing side. So, again, that's probably the last time that they were, like, considered good. And if you remember, Sean Alexander had some pretty big years, when they had two amazing guys up front. And again, it's five guys on the line. But even if you have 2 out of 5 that are elite, it makes a huge difference. Yep. And that was before the Schneider era. Correct. I mean, that's one of the biggest advantages, too, because normally when you see good O-line, it's not 2 guys lined up next to each other. It's usually like, a tackle and then a center, or a tackle on one side, a guard on the other. But it's pretty rare to have 2 elite players playing right next to each other. And that's what made Seattle so good, having 2 guys right next to each other as a tackle and a guard. It's like, what do you do? And then if the center can pull, and be at least above average, I mean, how do you stop that? And the answer is you don't. And that's why Sean Alexander was as good as he was for Seattle when he was there. Run left. They don't even need to run right. What's the point? It's like running towards the right, you might get a loss. Running towards the left, you could run for a 50-yard touchdown. Short gain on 2nd down and 6. Yeah. Little screen pass. Down the sideline, the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Orange. Oh, Wazoo, what did you do? Trevor Pena with another tutty. Multiple tutties by multiple players on Syracuse. 3 players with 2 tutties each. Whoop. (42-28) Orange. Yeah, well, this is McCord's last game in college football, so of course he wants to go out with a bang. Leading a few of the statistical categories in college football. Going from Ohio State to Syracuse. So 4th pass that leads to a tutty. Nice job. School bowl game record, and he's not done. He'll probably get at least 1 more, maybe 2 more before the game is up. And honestly, DK, and Lockett have held it down for Seattle all over the years, right? And JSN is kind of this new shiny toy and shiny piece. But you just got to think, if you gave JSN more targets, you give him 12 targets a game, and he ends up being the focal point, he can put up equal numbers as Lockett or DK. And then honestly, I think the numbers would be bigger, because he'll be more efficient and he can give you better yak yards after the catch, depending on if you just give him yards in the red zone and he has to go one-on-one, which is maybe going to favor DK a little more based off his body size. But other than that, just from the 20 to the 20 or in the red zone, JSN's got that speed and he's a good route runner, got good hands, and I don't think that, obviously DK is a bigger name right now, but I think JSN could, be the number 1, especially, if you had to restructure some things and try to make that O-line better. Sometimes it's addition by subtraction, Yeah. Things were a little bit different with like Brad Johnson against the Raiders and Rich Gannon when he was like NFL MVP and that offense was the best offense going against the best defense. But Brad Johnson was super intelligent and he went 22-6. So you got to think, for a guy that has a play sheet, that one play is like 30 fucking words, let alone, being able to, understand that and run that offense with Pittman and Allstott and, Keenan McCardell and Keyshawn, Joe Juravicius and Ken Dilger. It's like, we might not have had the most flashiest offensive line, and we might have had a lot of good players, not great players, besides Allstott on that offense. But again, Brad opened it up enough because of the play that we had from the offensive line at that time, as well as skilled position players and a great play caller in Gruden. Yeah, it's like you don't have to have a big, bulky wide receiver to be your number 1. Not every, guy has to be Mike Evans or A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf. Devontae Smith obviously didn't really feel comfortable in that number one role as being a skinny receiver. He's more of a 2, but at times can put up numbers like a 1. Same thing with Addison when Jefferson is out. So, you don't have to picked, and dropped. Of course, I feel like in our minds, everyone's got to be a Julio Jones or a Megatron, or they have to be a big guy to be a 1. But again, you can be a smaller receiver and still be a 1. Reflect with a 7er. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. We're at 30, 70 to go. Third down and 6. 2 seconds left here in the third quarter. Cougs need to get into the end zone to keep this going. Trips left. Audible at the line there by Eckhouse. Another audible at the line. Clock is running down. Shotgun set. Trips left. Pump fake, pump fake. Little slant. Close to the marker. And also, too, if your offensive line stinks, the wide receiver will never be able to show his true potential because some routes take 3, 4, 5 seconds, to be able to do a stop and go or to run the post or, to be able to, do a longer developing play to make sure that you can get that big touchdown. But, if you only got 0.5 seconds before Gino or whoever has to throw, you're not going to be able to get that deep throw to develop because there's not enough time. So, again, a good offensive line opens up the holes for the running back, gives the time to the quarterback, but essentially it helps out the wide receivers and tight ends from being superstars instead of just being stars. So that way they can actually get the ball on something that's not a screen pass or a bubble screen or a jet sweep or a reverse. Some of those, receivers need time to be able to make those plays develop. But if you don't got an offensive line, it'll never happen. So. Yeah. Yep. True that. What do you want to do photo-wise? You got anything you want for your photo? Let me know. End of the third quarter, 42-28, Orange. Good choice. And I feel like some fans, they hold too much loyalty. Just because the team drafts a player doesn't mean that you have to love that player forever. Again, just because you end up getting a guy and they're wearing your team jersey doesn't mean that has to be a piece that's there for his whole career. Some guys get worse. Some guys are not a fit. Some guys are injury prone. So, even if you predicted that you were going to draft this guy and they did, that doesn't mean at the end of the day that was the right pick. We all love players, but sometimes I feel there's a little bit too much loyalty once a player has that uniform on. Some guys are just not a fit, and that, after their rookie deal, they need to go. And I feel like some fan bases have a hard time of distinguishing, the guys on the team that are a fit moving forward and guys that are only supposed to be there temporarily. So. Like everyone wanted to give Sean Alexander the credit, but real football heads knew it was because of Walter Jones and Hutchinson on why they were so good. Obviously, Alexander was a good running back, for his time period. But again, he would have never had those big years without those two guys blocking for him. If the line didn't have those two, we wouldn't even be talking about Sean Alexander. Fourth down and a yard for the Cougs. Let's see the QB sneak. He said Pullman push. Yeah, Wirfs and Penny Stool, I believe, are the only ones that have given up none. I mean, besides the injury where Wirfs ended up twisting the ankle and then twisting the ankle the other direction and got pancaked that one play. But, those guys are on a whole nother level. Intercepted by the Orange. Wow. Bad throw by Eckhouse. Second pick. Oh, Eckhouse, you got to be better. And let's be honest, it might have been one of the best left sides of all time. I don't know if we have anybody that's been better with two players on the same side next to each other that were as good as Hutchinson and Jones. I mean, we're talking Hall of Fame players together. Like, I'm trying to remember, if we've ever had anything like that in recent memory. And it's, obviously the Cowboys ended up having three great offensive linemen in Zeke's rookie year. We remember that. And that offensive line was incredibly special, but how often are you going to have three Pro Bowlers or All Pros on the line? I mean, the last time that we saw that was probably the Cowboys. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Come on, Cougs. Let's make this closer than it's going to be. Otherwise, it's going to get a little out of hand. Cougs need a big defensive stop on this drive. Flag on the play. Hi, Paisley. Paisley's in here now. She missed Dad. How are you? I love you. You missed Daddy? You want to lay down over here? You can lay down over here. 42-28 Syracuse. I actually left Paisley here with family when I ended up going to my dad's, Lucas. It was raining pretty hard, so I figured with the food and the, presents and everything that it might be better to wait for a day where it's, maybe a little sunnier. Because my dad's got some property in the backyard that we can, walk around and, check out some of the paths and whatnot. So, maybe when we end up doing like a little barbecue with like hot dog, hamburger, ribs, and then the weather's better, maybe hopefully before Easter or maybe after, then I'll bring Paisley over there. Normally she'll be with me, but I felt that it would be better for her just to be a little bit more relaxed here. McCord going long, going deep, got a man. First down, Orange. Move the chains. Great throw by McCord. Gill. No relation to Kendall Gill, or maybe there is. First down, Orange. But again, there was really no reason that Washington State should win this game. They lost their coach to Wake Forest. They had like 20 to 30 players transfer. So, this team is literally depleted. So for them to actually keep it close for a majority of this game, salute to the Cougs. I don't think Wake Forest is a fucking upgrade to Washington State, but apparently their coach thought so. And then you ended up losing your star quarterback, Mateer, and running back, and a lot of other offensive line and defensive pieces. So if they actually had all of their players, I think Washington State could win this game, honestly. Mateer was very good with his legs and his arm, and I think that it would have been a shootout, and it could have come down to maybe whoever has the ball last, honestly. I ended up seeing Kendall Gill when he ended up working the pre-show for the Bulls. When I ended up visiting the Warriors, I saw Tim Hardaway there, Kendall Gill, and then they had another player, maybe like a Will Purdue or something, that was working the pre-show, and I got photos with them and whatnot. So, but I don't know. Gill is not a very common name. Obviously it's not as common as like a Smith or anything like that, but Gill is a little unusual. You don't see too many Gills out there. I wonder if that is Kendall Gill's son, or maybe a cousin, or nephew or something. Maybe there's some relation there. Oh yeah, Paisley got a big raccoon stuffed animal, a huge extra large bacon bone, and then I got another green and black cloth rope for her as well. So she's been living it up with Christmas presents. I definitely took care of her. You saw Kendall play in the Final Four? Nice, in 89? Hell yeah. I always liked his game. I always thought he was kind of a crafty player. Lefty. Underrated for sure. Third and goal. McCord, audible at the line. Less than 10 minutes to go. Shotgun set. McCord. Looking. Bang! Blindside. 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Should have seen that coming with his peripheral vision. But he did not see it. Or if he did see it, he saw it a little too late. He was just looking left. Hey, you got to make sure you're looking to your right, my guy. Comes in unblocked, running back slips, doesn't even get a chip off that defender. And that's how that leads to a sack lunch. Field goal attempt, kick is up by Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy. And the kick is good. 45-28, Q's. Like, they were already good with Walter Jones, but once they got him from the Vikings, and I was like, oh, this could be what they need, and it was. Like, Walter Jones was probably the better player out of the two, but Hutch was so good and gave him that extra oomph that they needed at that time period. But obviously both Hall of Fame, so I mean, tit for tat. I mean, it's not like, oh, this guy's a Hall of Famer and the other one wasn't, or this guy's a Hall of Famer and this guy was a Pro Bowler, which still would have been awesome. But to have two Hall of Famers playing next to each other, pretty fucking rare. Yeah. (45-28) Syracuse. All right, Cougs. I mean, now it feels like the game is, kind of getting away from you. But if you can get a tutty on this next drive, that'll definitely make it a little more interesting. At least only being down by 10 at that point, not 17. Exactly. (45-28) Syracuse. Like, everyone remembers this in like that Matt Hasselbeck era. Woo! Man, but that jersey combo is something else. Lay down over here. You want to lay down over here more comfy? Are you hungry? You want food? Love you. Paisley's giving me the puppy eyes. I love you. I'm almost done, honey. This game is going a lot longer than expected. Love me some Gus and Joel. 45-28 Syracuse. Tomorrow we're going to do BYU and Colorado, both ranked. And that will be, Alamo Bowl? I believe, tomorrow? Same time, roughly around 4:30 Pacific. I'll watch that Miami-Iowa State game at 12:30. So that one. So we got Iowa State and Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl at 12:30 on ABC. 10-3 versus 10-2 should be a good one. And then we got the Valero Alamo Bowl, number 17 BYU 10-2 versus number 23 Colorado 9-3 should be good. Floater, first down, Cougs. Got to get Kyle Williams the ball. That's the only guy that can get them back into this game. We're at 30, 70 to go. 7 more likes to 20. Let's get there. But it looks like they have some pretty decent bowl games tomorrow. And then on Sunday night, we'll do the Falcons and the Commandos, Michael Penix Jr. and Jaden Daniels. Yes, please. And then we'll do Niners and Lions on Monday night. And then after that, we'll do Penn State, Boise State, and then Ohio State, Oregon. It's going to be a lot of fun. First down, Cougs. Move the chains. Udalasi with a nice gain there. 19 yards. First down, Wazoo. They need to get the ball to Kyle Williams if they really want to get back into this. One-on-one, he's arguably the best player on the field. Short gain. That counts. He's so patient and quiet in here. She loves Dad. Plus, she, I was gone for 6-7 hours on Christmas, and then yesterday I was gone for about 6-7 hours. So she's definitely missing Dad. Good girl. Lay down. That counts. Back shoulder incomplete. I gotta set up this little blanket area for her. Hold on. Lay down, honey. Over there. Lay down over there. Lay down over there. Over there, honey. Second down and 10, shotgun set. Eckhouse looking, good protection, decides to take off. He's at the 10, diving to the 4. First down, Wazoo. Flag on the play, probably coming back due to a hold. Yep, holding on the offensive line. All right, Paisley, you want to go out? Hold on. Paisley wanted to roam. Shotgun set. Eckhouse looking, plenty of time and protection there. Short gain. Agreed. How's that weather been up there for you, Reflect? Third down and long. Shotgun set, trips right. Audible at the line. Eckhouse, plenty of time. Good protection by the Cougs. A hold. We'll see if they call it. Eckhouse, floater. Almost intercepted. Yeah, I know Superbad is on Netflix until December 31st, and then it's coming down. So me and Elliot love that. And usually I'll try to watch a little bit of holiday movies depending on my mood, like Christmas Story or Home Alone 1 and 2. Elf. It kind of just depends on, I guess, what your go-to is. Usually for me, it's like a Christmas Story or possibly like a Home Alone. But kick is up and no good. Brutal. Well, this one is officially over now with 5 minutes to go, but we'll see if the Coug defense can make a play and if McCord can break a record. And I'm looking forward to this tomorrow, baby. Don't really care too much for Shedeur Sanders, but I sure as hell love Travis Hunter. And we'll see what they end up doing tomorrow. Definitely excited about Cam Ward tomorrow, too. And Damian Martinez, former Coug and former Oregon State Beaver. And hopefully they'll be able to beat Iowa State tomorrow, which I think they can. And Facebook is terrible. Like on my feed, I don't even see any of my friends. It's like I get like these like celebrity pages that like come up on my fucking feed. Like, why is that coming up? Block. I don't need to see any celebrity pages. It's stupid. Like, how about actually showing me my friends that are on my friend list and what's going on, instead of like seeing the same like 4 people and then a bunch of ads. It's fucking terrible, man. Like, Facebook is progressively getting worse and worse with more ads and bullshit than actually seeing what your friends are up to. Terrible. Tomorrow, baby. But I'll watch that Miami-Iowa State game from beginning to end, and we'll stream this one tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific. Should be a good one. Yeah, and it's weird, that celebrity stuff that comes up on my timeline. Like, sometimes it's like rappers, sometimes it's entertainers, sometimes it's like models. Like, why is this coming up? Like, it's like, I don't look at that type of stuff. Like, why are you coming up on my timeline? I've had to block more celebrity pages on my timeline in the last week than I ever have in my entire life. Apparently they know the algorithm and they know what I like, but they don't. Because if they knew what I would like, it would be just showing me what my friends are doing. But I feel like you start to see less and less of what your friends are doing. Like there might be 5 people that you continuously see their posts. And then what about the rest of them? Like, they think I don't care about what everyone else is up to? I mean, obviously your phone is listening to you too, so when they hear things, they try to, people are spying on your shit, it's like, the apps are listening, like you talk about a certain thing and then all of a sudden that shows up, it's not by coincidence. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Well, depending on how easily you get brainwashed, I guess, but true to that. Some people are mentally strong, some are not. Second down and 4 on the Syracuse 26. Floater off that crossing route, breaks that tackle. Go. The 50, the 40, the 30. Nice. First down. Orange. Move the trains. That was a hell of a play. Oh, there's Georgia transfer. He said, give me that. Meeks falling out, baby. Starting to slow down a little bit there at the end, but getting McCord's stats up higher and higher and higher. Nice job by McCord to Meeks. That was a good combo. 78 catches, broke 1,000 yards right there. 7 tutties. Nice. McCord, little check down. Blockers downfield, the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Orange, and it is over. And that is the nail in the coffin. LaQuint Allen with his 3rd tutty on the ground. Big victory. But again, like I said, if you had the head coach and the quarterback and the star running back and all of the 20 or 30 players that transferred out, this would have been a lot closer. Could have maybe come down to the last whoever has the ball last wins. And maybe that still is Syracuse, but if you watch Mateer and some of the players Washington State had early on, this team went 8-4, and it wasn't by luck. You know, they had a good squad, but you know, once the coach left, everyone said, fuck this, and left. Kick is up, and barely good. 52-28, Orange. 3:23 left here in the fourth. 52-28, Orange. Got to be careful with your obsession with Taylor Swift. I feel like if you have an obsession with artists or with politicians, you start to turn into it's like a cult member. Like, that's really what it kind of comes down to. And, you know, not all cults are good, if any. Just saying. You know, those people that, you know, have this obsession with politicians, obsession with artists, it's not good for the mental health, man. I'm telling you. Getting brainwashed not in a good way. 52-28, Orange. Don't get brainwashed. Yeah, but based on how you talk on the channel, your obsession is still the way that it was before. You know, you might think it's just a joke here and there, but again, that's when you know you got the brainwashing, because you can't not talk about her. You know, it's impossible for you to not talk about her at least once in a stream. That's when you know that's not good, bro. But at least it's not a politician, so salute to you for that. Got to be very careful with the obsessions. Some obsessions can be good to a certain degree, unless you start turning into a stalker, you know, but I guess there's, you know, healthy addictions and habits and stuff that are unhealthy, but I don't know, man. Got to be very careful with the obsession with the artists and the politicians, man, I'm telling you, because then that shit starts turning into a cult. cult-like fucking activities, cult-like vibe. Short gain, 2nd down and 4. Yeah, but once you're in it, you're not going to be able to get out. You already got washed. So, there's no coming back from it. You already are fully invested, and no matter what, even if you try to, block her out or not listen to her music or talk about her, it's still going to be in your mind. She already got you. She's already in here already, my guy. She got you, and there's no coming back from it. 3rd down and 4. $52-28 Orange. Is it something that I need to watch? It sounds like it. Little short game. How do I watch this? Netflix. Nice. Did you watch it already? Eckhouse. Little check down. Gets sandwiched like an Oreo cookie by 3 Orange defenders. Less than 2 minutes to go in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. 52-28 Orange. It sounds like I need to watch it. I've been really hung up on X-Files and Walking Dead lately, but I might have room to start something else, especially if it's just going to be. So is it like 1 episode documentary, or is it like 5 episodes that are 1 hour each? It sounds like I need to watch, though. Cole in the building. How are you? Ooh, wow. 98? Ooh. 6 episodes. Nice. And is it just called Wild Wild Country? Is that the actual name of it? And what's kind of the gist of it, Reflect? Is it just showing like the Oregon's history and the Pacific Northwest and like, kind of like what was going on in that time period based off the people that they're doing the documentary on? We got 2 minutes to go. 52-28. Yeah. Like, how are Gus and Joel not doing the games? Like, Gus and Joel better do Ohio State, Oregon on January 1 at 2 p.m. Pacific. That better be Gus and Joel doing that game. I hope it is. Oh. religious group, cult-like group. I think, you know what? I think I've heard of this. I haven't watched this particular special, but I think I've heard of that. Or maybe my dad talked about it. You know, my dad being obviously, English and humanities and, doing a bunch, of stuff back in the day. But I imagine my dad has read about it or seen it. Floater, almost picked off, incomplete. I mean, anything that has to do with Oregon or Washington, I like to be able to, read about or watch about the history. Obviously, a lot of local Indian tribes in Oregon and Washington as well. So Joel Klatt says winner of the Rose Bowl is going all the way. And then Gus says Texas. But I think it's going to be Oregon or Texas that wins it all. That's my personal opinion. Top bracket. Whoever wins it all. If Oregon beats Ohio State, then hopefully we beat Texas and then we go all the way. But if we lose, Ohio State and Texas could go either way. And, it could be whoever wins that goes all the way. But I'm not really sold on Ohio State. Like, yeah, just because you beat shitty-ass SEC Tennessee doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're the best team in the tourney. But apparently that's what some people think. Like, oh, Ohio State beat Tennessee. Now they're favored against Oregon. In what fucking planet does that make sense? But that is what it is. If people want to think Ohio State has changed just because they beat a dog shit Tennessee, then, we'll find out when they play Oregon in the Rose Bowl when they don't win. At least that's what I'm hoping. But for me, my pecking order goes Oregon and Texas, as far as the teams that I think that can win it all. Floater. Incomplete. You love that game, Cole. 3 field goals and 13 punts. You love that shit. You went and tried to recreate that in Madden after you watched that game. You loved it. Third down. New Dexter is fire too. I highly recommend if people that have Paramount Plus, Showtime, watch the new Dexter. It's really good. Like, every single character that they had, to, kind of replace the original character based off 15 years younger. Sarah Michelle Gellar is in there. Christian Slater's in there. They obviously have a younger Masuka. Obviously, the character that plays Debbie or Deb and Dexter, fantastic. Like, I was a little skeptical going in if they were going to get the cast correct, but I'm already 4 episodes in out of 10, and it is very, very good. Gives you the same type of Dexter vibes, and you still have Dexter narrating. First down, Cougs. Oh, congratulations. Good luck on that. Hopefully that will be an upgrade for you based on where you currently are at. First and goal. They're on the Syracuse 9. Would be good if they can get to 52-35. Well, good luck, and I'll send positive vibes your way, and hopefully you get it. And again, we'll be live tomorrow for BYU and Colorado. That way we can watch Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, and that'll be at 4:30 Pacific. And if you're a really, high-end college football head like me, you guys will be checking out Iowa State and Miami for Cam Ward at 12:30 Pacific on ABC. Those will be the ones that I'll definitely be evaluating very closely since our quarterback class stinks this year. Touchdown, Cougs! Ganesh Maworthy with the tutty. Well, Hunter is worthy. I mean, they could have given a dual award, or one was a social media Heisman, and that was him, and the person that really deserved it was Genty. But they could have went either way. But again, if Genty played for Oregon, maybe he would have won it. Bigger school, more marketable. But when one guy's on Colorado and you got Little Wayne, coming and showing up to the festivities, and your coach is Deion Sanders, and the other guy played for Boise State. Even though they had a good story, doesn't really have the same kind of, caliber of swagger, I guess. Even though Genty broke records and Hunter did not, but it is what it is. Genty and Hunter will both be good NFL players, but they definitely made a mistake on the award. But again, a lot of guys that get the Heisman, it ends up being a curse, especially quarterbacks. So some running backs as well. So. Maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise of him not getting it. Now, if Travis Hunter broke all the records, and he had 15 to 20 receiving touchdowns, and he had 3 touchdowns defensively on pick sixes, and he was literally statistically the best corner in college football and the best receiver in college football, then yes, you deserve it over Genty, even though he was breaking records at the running back position. But just because you played both positions and didn't break any records, even though you were one of the best corners and one of the best receivers, I don't know. It felt like Genty got ripped off. Like, how are you going to end up being number 1 at running back? Number 2 is you, yak yards, and then the next running back. Like, how do you break all the records and you're at like Barry Sanders level and you don't win the award? And his numbers were a billion times better than Reggie Bush, Mark Ingram, and who else? Derrick Henry, right? His numbers obliterated their Heisman winner numbers, and he still didn't win. So kind of sad that, that college football is like this, for the people that vote on it, but it is what it is, I guess, Like King Griffey Jr. should have been first ballot Hall of Fame, but you had 3 haters go against him. I mean, what's going to happen when Ichiro comes in? You're going to have people not vote him in, unanimous? Like, it's ridiculous. But there's always going to be haters out there, jealous for whatever reason. But, I mean, if they ended up doing a first-time split Heisman Award winner, this would have been the year to do it with Genty and Travis. But, again, I think Travis Hunter had a great year, but not better than Genty's year. But I definitely feel if Genty was on Oregon, he would have won it over Travis. I mean, it probably would have been a little bit closer voting-wise, but again, Travis Hunter winning, that'll be more that'll be more for like NIL, marketing, who's going to be more marketable if they have a shoe? The Air Travis or the Air Genty. Like, I don't think a lot of kids are going to go out of their way to get a shoe from a guy that went to Boise State. Now, if he ends up turning into one of the top 5 or top 10 backs, whatever team he goes to, maybe, something will come of it down the road. But, when you play with Deion Sanders and you play with Deion Sanders' son, obviously that's going to be more for social media and marketability. Backflip by Q's with the win. Final score 52-35, but obviously him winning the Heisman was more to do with money and marketability rather than who is most deserving. Colt with a 5-er. I appreciate that. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Final score, Syracuse 52, Cougars from Washington State 35. Let me know what you want to do for a couple of photos here before we end the stream. I got to take Paisley on a long walk and eat some dinner, but let me know what you want. It can be F1 photos, it can be NFL photos, it can be college football photos. Let me know what you're looking at, and I got you. And then obviously we'll be doing this tomorrow. Let's go, baby. Okay, I got you. Yeah, and that would be an upgrade. Obviously DK, his time is kind of coming to an end. And obviously Lockett, as far as age, DK can go somewhere else. Lockett could retire. And again, you got, JSN, you draft Egbuka, you bring up Bobo as number 3 or someone better. Give Bobo a chance to be number 3, number 4, number 5 receiver, and then maybe bring in another player. Yeah. I mean, we know Ohio State knows how to develop wide receivers. Look at Jeremiah Smith also. You don't like Bobo? You don't think Bobo could play 3rd, 4th, or 5th string if he had more playing time? Reflect is not a Bobo fan. He said no Bobo for him. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks Bobo is great, but, there's something there. It may not be enough to contribute enough. Yeah, a little slow, true. All right, well, I appreciate you guys very, very much. Final score, number 21, Syracuse 52, Washington State Cougars 35 in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. If you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Highly appreciate that. Shout out to all the people that liked, subbed, donated, commented, and shared. Captain with a $5, Captain with a $5, Sarah with $1, Reflect with 9, Reflect with 7, Cole with a $5. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, we will be live tomorrow for BYU and Colorado, so we can watch a little bit of Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders, see what happens there. If you are available, come through and hang out with your boy. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very, very much. BYU Colorado, 4:30 Pacific tomorrow with me and the NWSF. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Have a great rest of your night, and I'm out. Gang.